Chapter 443. Have you had enough? If you want to leave the He family team, just leave. Sister Yen doesn't owe you anything. Even if the competition was rigged, it has nothing to do with you. He Lefeng's face was red as he bellowed at the He family team. So what if the competition was rigged? What did it have to do with them? They were weak, so no other team had been willing to accept them. That was their own problem. How could they blame others for it? Xiaofeng, what happened? Lin Yan glanced at He Lefeng expressionlessly. Lin Yan knew very well whether the competition with WW had been rigged or not. If she had to compete against a team like WW, she might as well give up racing for the rest of her life. That would be an insult to her, as well as to the racing industry. Of course, Lin Yan couldn't be bothered to explain herself to the He family team. Sister Yen. Actually, there were some doubts in the industry at first. They said that the He family team couldn't have beaten WW. There must be something fishy about the result. Furthermore, WW's huge fanbase has been stirred up, so the officials have started to investigate, He Lefeng explained softly to Lin Yan. Lin Yan fell into deep thought when she heard him. Actually, Lin Yan wasn't surprised by this outcome. If she had to put herself in their shoes, she wouldn't have believed it either if an ordinary low-level team had suddenly won against a top team in the international competition. After all, no one knew who she was. Hence, Sister Ling had wanted to use this incident to salvage her reputation. However, after much consideration, Lin Yan decided not to drag racing into the entertainment industry. Sister Yen, someone has uploaded the video of our race against WW. Many famous celebrities have analyzed the video frame by frame. In the end, Sister Yen, your performance wasn't a race. It was just a show. He Lefeng quipped. Lin Yan fell into deep thought. Indeed, she had never taken WW seriously. Her competition with WW on the track was indeed a show. Hence, many people, including the organizers, believe that Sister Yen isn't a good racer. You merely won against WW. Frankly speaking, you colluded with WW and ZH1 to fix the race. He Lefeng sighed heavily. If he hadn't witnessed Lin Yan's driving skills, he would have doubted her. WW was one of the top teams in the country. Although it wasn't the best, it was considered a top team. How could someone like Lin Yan, who wasn't even a professional racer, defeat the entire team? Many people in the industry are speculating that Sister Yen is an actress. Perhaps you have colluded with WW and ZH1 to fake the competition to increase your popularity. Lin Yan's eyes remained impassive as she listened to He Lefeng. The most infuriating thing is that WW hasn't responded to these accusations. It's as though they've admitted it. Now, all the criticism is directed at the He family team. Out of the 3 sponsors that we had, 2 of them have left. The investors are hesitating and are preparing to withdraw their funds. He Lefeng added. I understand. Lin Yan nodded slightly. WW's silence was within Lin Yan's expectations. Think about it. A top team like WW had already lost to an unknown low-level team. They had already lost all their face. For mobile users, please browse the web for a better reading experience. Chapter 444. Now that there were accusations of match fixing, WW couldn't wait for it to happen. Besides, the He family team had lost a few races in a row. They had already been accused of rigging the competition. All WW had to do was to keep quiet. They wouldn't admit that they had rigged the competition, nor would they deny that they had done so. This was akin to a fig leaf for WW. I knew it. How could she possibly be so capable? How could she have defeated WW alone? That's impossible. After all, she had colluded with them to fix the competition. She wanted to raise her reputation in the entertainment industry and throw the He family team into a pit of fire. The navigator of the He family glared at Lin Yan with a dark expression on his face. Miss Lin Yan, if you were that capable, would you still be in the entertainment industry? Qing Li sneered coldly. Lin Yan ignored their sarcasm. Racers and navigators at their level weren't worth arguing with. Her priority now was to solve the problem. No one would believe her even if she tried to explain herself. If someone said that she wasn't capable, there was no need to argue with them. All she had to do was prove herself with her actions. That was all. Sister Yen, The officials haven't exposed the rumor that the competition was rigged yet. If they make an official statement one day, our team will be doomed. He laughing quipped. Grandfather, are there any more competitions? Lin Yan's eyes trailed to He Dinkuan. He Dinkuan nodded and replied, there are still a few small competitions. The He family team was still considered a junior team. Hence, the competitions they competed in were of the same level. The He family team can't continue to lose. Lin Yan pondered this for some time before she spoke up. Given the He family team's current standard, even if they didn't accuse them of rigging the competition, they wouldn't be able to get any sponsors or investments if they continued to lose. Sister Yan, we want to win too. However, we aren't as good as the other teams. Even though we have similar equipment, it will be difficult for us to win. He laughing sighed heavily. Lin Yan was well aware of the He family team's racing standards. It would be too much for them to win based on their own abilities. However, the He family team had to change no matter what. Otherwise, it would disband sooner or later. If one's physical strength was insufficient, then they could only replace the hardware. They had to replace all the He family racers who weren't strong enough. The He family team needed fresh blood. Lin Yan had already come up with a plan. Late at night, only Lin Yan, He Dinkuan, and He Luffing were left in He Dinkuan's room. Sister Yan, what did you say? Did you replace all the members of the He family team? He Luffing looked puzzled. If a team doesn't have the ability to control the racetrack, no matter how famous the He family team is, it will only end up being eliminated by other teams. What's the point? Quipped Lin Yan. Actually, He Luffing and He Dinkuan knew what Lin Yan was talking about. But where could they get a group of capable players? Besides, they didn't have such a huge amount of funds. Even if they did, if they were really capable, why would they join a small team like the He family team? Lin Yan replied slowly, no one would reject the opportunity to stand at the top of the world. The top of the world? Old Master He Dinkuan and He Luffing were taken aback, as they couldn't understand Lin Yan at all. Sister Yan, where is the top of the world? Don't tell me you're talking about the He family. He Luffing looked awkward. If the He family team was at the top of the world, then the world would be a tragic sight. I'm at the top of the world, replied Lin Yan nonchalantly. Mobile users, please browse and read. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit IAI. Chapter 445. After Lin Yan left, He Dinkuan sighed heavily and turned to He Luffing. Xiaofeng, don't talk to Sister Yan about the He family team in the future. You will only add to her worries. Sister Yan has her own problems to deal with. He Dinkuan had treated Lin Yan's suggestion of replacing the He family team as a joke. Putting himself in their shoes, he was now a young and capable racer. No matter how much money he was offered, he wouldn't join a junior racer team that had no reputation and no future. It was tantamount to burying his professional youth. Grandfather, what about us? He Luffing frowned. However, at that moment, Grandpa Sheng fell silent and lit up the cigarette that he had quit for a long time. Xiaofeng, racing has always been my dream. It has become an obsession. However, after so many years, I've suffered defeat and felt helpless. I'm not young anymore. I've been dreaming my whole life. Perhaps I've been dreaming wrongly. He Luffing felt a little upset as he watched the old master's lonely back view. He Luffing knew what racing meant to his grandfather. He had held on to this dream his whole life and had paid a huge price for it. It was an indispensable part of his grandfather's life. However, what had destroyed his grandfather wasn't the suspicion of rigging. It was the hopelessness of the He family team. He Luffing could still vividly remember how his grandfather had humbly begged the organizers to sponsor and invest in the He family team. All for the continuation of the He family team. However, if the despair on the racetrack was the only thing he wanted, he might as well bury everything in the ground. Perhaps dreams weren't something he should have at his age. At Cloud Manor, the lights were off in Lin Yan's room. There was only a faint glow on the computer screen. Cries of surprise and excitement could be heard from the computer. The screen was showing the career of the racetrack's Grim Reaper. She won. This unknown newcomer defeated the king of the first level of the international competition. GD is the new king. Her name is Yeva. In an instant, Yeva's racing scenes flashed across the screen. Before long, It was Yeva's first failure. Apex tournament. This person has created countless miracles. He led the WZ team to the top, defeated GD, and ushered in the new king of the tournament. However, Yeva and her team, WZ, had met the end of their reign in the tournament. On the computer it was clearly visible. The trophy was taken away. Yeva stood below the stage, trembling slightly as she stared at it. What followed was the fall of the new king into the abyss. She once swore that she would enter the pinnacle of the competition and obtain the trophy that belonged to her. Ever since she had been banned from competing, her passion for racing had been sealed. However, the regret he had for the tournament of the Apex had never disappeared. After some time, Lin Yen switched off her computer. The He family team was too important to her grandfather. She wouldn't give it up. However, she couldn't represent the He family team in every race. Since that was the case, perhaps she could choose a new group of teammates for herself. Just like his close team in the first league, WZ. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit IAI. Chapter 446. Early the next morning, Lin Yen was woken up by Pei Yutong's call. Sister-in-law, are you awake? I'll go to your room later. I'm hanging up now. Pei Yutong hung up hastily before Lin Yen could respond. Lin Yen rubbed her half-opened eyes as she stared at the phone with an odd expression on her face. Pei Yutong rushed to Lin Yan's room excitedly. Sister-in-law, have you had breakfast? Pei Yutong sat on the couch casually as he glanced at Lin Yen, who had just finished washing up. Lin Yen shook her head. What do you think? That's not important. Pei Yutong grinned. Lin Yen was dumbfounded. What was the point of this kid asking her if she had eaten breakfast? Sister-in-law, did you know that I confirmed yesterday that the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yeva, has really come to the country? A few executives have seen her before. I heard that she is very beautiful and elegant. Pei Yutong gazed at Lin Yen excitedly. Has the date of the private dinner been confirmed? Asked Lin Yen. Pei Yutong shook his head. It hasn't been decided yet, but it should be happening in the next few days. The top teams in the country will also be competing. I heard that they will be asking Yeva for advice on how to run a lap on the track. I wonder which team will be so lucky. Actually, Lin Yen couldn't figure out why someone would impersonate her. What was their motive? Is it for free? Asked Lin Yen casually. Sister-in-law, how could it be for free? Those people have already paid an exorbitant price to invite Yeva to the country. I reckon that they would have to pay an exorbitant price to race with Yeva. Pei Yutong pondered this for a moment before he explained. Pei Yutong glanced at Lin Yen and jumped in fright. Veins were popping on Lin Yan's forehead, and her eyes looked as though they were about to spit fire. Sister-in-law. Pei Yutong was dumbfounded. Lin Yen looked as though someone owed her millions. Although Lin Yen had been disgusted by the fact that someone had impersonated her, she hadn't been infuriated. However, impersonating her was an exorbitant price. This was absolutely intolerable. This deity was poor, but the impersonator had earned a lot of money. Oh, I'm fine. Lin Yen snapped back to her senses and composed herself before she grinned at him. For some reason, Pei Yutong felt that Lin Yan's smile was odd. All right. Suddenly, Lin Yen changed the topic and asked Pei Yutong, how much do you know about the domestic racing industry? Is there anyone who is good at racing? Is there anyone who is good at racing? Is there anyone who is cheap? Pei Yutong didn't seem to understand Lin Yen. What did it mean to be exceptionally good at racing but exceptionally bad in the racing circle? Pei Yutong lowered his head and pondered for a moment. Then his eyes lit up. Sister-in-law, it's true. Who? Asked Lin Yen curiously. You. Pei Yutong gazed at Lin Yen solemnly. Sister-in-law, look at you. You're really good at racing, but you're not doing well in the racing industry. You even belong to the He family team. Pei Yutong realized that Lin Yen had been talking about herself. Get lost. Lin Yen glared at Pei Yutong. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit IAI. Chapter 447. Sister-in-law. Why are you asking? Pei Yutong grinned. I plan to recruit some capable racers to join the He family team. Lin Yan didn't hide anything from Pei Yutong. Pei Yutong fell silent for a moment before he frowned at Lin Yan. Sister-in-law, are you serious? She wanted to recruit a capable racer for the He family team. Of course, that wasn't the main point. The main point was that Lin Yan wanted them to be cheap. If Lin Yan hadn't said this, Pei Yutong would have guffawed out loud. This joke had gone too far. The He family team was a low-class team that had never won a race before. Even if they were willing, they wouldn't be able to recruit a racer. Even if they were, they wouldn't be capable enough. Even if they were, how could they let Lin Yan work for free? And it had to be cheap? In this day and age, the average racer's salary was extremely high, okay? Be serious, Lin Yan replied. Okay, sister-in-law. Pei Yutong suppressed his laughter as he replied solemnly. No. Lin Yan was speechless. Sister-in-law, if there really is such a person, remember to tell me. I will poach him, Pei Yutong said. What kind of joke was this? Even his own team was in such a miserable state. It was hard to say whether they were dead or alive. Professional racers? Where was he? He wanted one. Before Lin Yan could respond, Pei Yutong's eyes suddenly sparkled. Sister Yan. Sister-in-law. No, Daddy. Come to my team. Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yutong. I refuse. Sister-in-law, what future does the He family team have? I will pay you 3 times. No. I will pay you 5 times the price. Do you want to join my team? Pei Yutong blurted out anxiously. If Lin Yan hadn't brought this up, Pei Yutong would have forgotten that he had a genius by his side. It would be unforgivable if he poached her. Lin Yan couldn't help but smack her forehead and sigh inwardly. She shouldn't have asked Pei Yutong these questions. Pei Yutong's team might not necessarily be better than the He family team. If Pei Yutong's team and the He family team were to compete on the track, it would be like 2 chickens pecking at each other. However, Pei Yutong's team still couldn't be compared to the He family's team. Pei Yutong didn't need to worry about sponsorships and investments, nor was he afraid that his team would be disbanded. In terms of ability, the He family team and Pei Yutong's team wouldn't be afraid of each other even if they were to compete on the track. The other teams were competing to see who was stronger. As for the He family team and Pei Yutong's team, they were competing to see who was better. She would rather die than join his team. Sister-in-law, the He family team is such a weak team. Why don't we disband it? To put it bluntly, we were able to beat WW previously because of the He family team. It was all because of you. The He family team is too weak. Don't you feel aggrieved being in the He family team? However, Lin Yan's words struck Pei Yutong like a blow to his soul. Lin Yan stared at Pei Yutong intently. Your team has raced 12 times in the past 2 months and lost all of them. The He family team has raced 12 times and lost 10 times. If I remember correctly, the team that lost to the He family team was yours. I watched that race. It was an exciting one. Chapter 448. Indeed, the He family team was extremely lousy. It wouldn't be a problem for anyone else to say this, but where did Pei Yutong get the courage to say this? As Lin Yan recounted the competition and how Pei Yutong's team had lost to the He family team, the smile on Pei Yutong's face gradually froze. At that moment, Pei Yutong finally understood that his team was indeed weak. They had even lost to the He family team before. However, why had Lin Yan brought this up? This was a huge humiliation to Pei Yutong. It was a humiliation that would nail his racing career to the pillar of shame. Big sister-in-law. Listen to me. Actually, we lost to the He family team. Because I didn't compete personally. Pei Yutong sounded indignant. Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan had no time to listen to Pei Yutong's nonsense. She chased him out of the room and called ZH1's God Z. The content of the call was the same. ZH1 was a top team, so Lin Yan wasn't familiar with the racing industry in the country. Hence, she wanted to ask God Z. Initially, God Z had agreed readily. However, when he found out that Lin Yan wanted to recruit racers for the He family team, he fell silent. Any capable racer, regardless of their potential or level, would never agree to join a low-level team like the He family team. No matter how high the salary was, it wasn't realistic. It would be a joke for them to do so. Lin Yan hung up helplessly. God Z was right. Any capable racer wouldn't be willing to join the He family team. At most, they would attract some useless racers, just like the current He family team members. Since she couldn't count on anyone else, Lin Yan could only search for information on the racing industry in the country. Where were the top teams? Perhaps they were racers who had retired due to some reason. However, after searching for half a day, she found nothing other than the addresses of the team's headquarters. Since there were still a few days to go before the imposter's private banquet, Lin Yan decided to try her luck at the top teams and see if she could poach racers with potential. Of course, Lin Yan didn't dare to poach racers without a reason. The top racers in the country not only received high salaries, but they also received great fame. However, this was limited to the country. At most, they could only rush into the third level of the World Championship. They could only get a ticket to the World Championship to experience the charm of the World Championship. However, what Lin Yan could give them was something that none of the top teams in the country could. She had the ability to lead those capable professional racers into the world of professional racing. It wasn't just a matter of getting a ticket to the world competition and experiencing the atmosphere of the world competition. Then, they would be defeated and return to their countries dejectedly, lamenting the strength of the third division league. What Lin Yan could give them was to lead them to the third level, the second level, and even the first level. Of course, this depended on what kind of racer she was able to poach. If it was the He family team, she would forget about it. She didn't have the ability to do so. Chapter 449. In the afternoon, Lin Yan arrived alone at the headquarters of a prestigious team in the country. D1. D1 was also a prestigious team in the country, so it was more famous than ZH1. Based on Lin Yan's understanding, there were many talented racers in D1. Many young racers had retired and become coaches in D1. Lin Yan stayed at D1 as a visitor for half a day, and found a chance to interact with some of the young racers. She even tried to seduce them. However, Lin Yan wasn't very successful. Almost everyone who had been poached by Lin Yan looked at Lin Yan as though she was a retard. In the end, Lin Yan had no choice but to leave and go home for dinner. Although it was a bad start, it was within Lin Yan's expectations. If it was so easy to poach racers from prestigious teams, it would be ridiculous. Putting aside the He family team's status in the country, Lin Yan and the He family team were very poor. To put it bluntly, Lin Yan was trying to gain something without risking anything. She had painted a big picture in front of them. That was why Lin Yan was regarded as mentally retarded. However, if Lin Yan used the identity of the racetrack's Grim Reaper, the top racers in the country would be willing to give her everything they had to beg her to join the He family team. Lin Yan wasn't discouraged even though she had failed. The next day, she visited another prestigious team. However, the results were the same. Other than the number of people who were mentally retarded, there were a few more. After 2 days without any results, Lin Yan had no choice but to calm down and think of a solution. Indeed, she wasn't persuasive at all. She had to think from a different perspective. Perhaps she shouldn't poach racers from prestigious teams. She should look for a new team with potential. The third day, Lin Yan arrived at Fire's headquarters. She had wanted to follow her plan 2 days ago and pretend to be a tourist. In the end, the Fire team didn't allow anyone to enter. She couldn't even enter the door this time. Just as Lin Yan was about to leave, a shy young man in clean clothes was sitting outside Fire's headquarters. From time to time, he would sneak a peek at Lin Yan. As the boy sized Lin Yan up, Lin Yan noticed him as well. Before long, Lin Yan's eyes landed on the boy. Their eyes met in an instant. The boy quickly averted his gaze and lowered his head. This boy didn't look very old, at most 20 years old. He should have just graduated from school. Are you a staff member of Fire? The boy asked suddenly as Lin Yan was about to leave. Lin Yan's eyes darted back to the boy as she shook her head. I'm not. Oh. Are you here to apply for a job? The boy seemed curious about Lin Yan. Are you also here to apply? Lin Yan walked over to the boy and grinned. Are you applying for a job at Fire? Yes. The boy nodded. But I was rejected just now. What position are you applying for? Asked Lin Yan. He's here to apply for the race driver position. The boy's voice was not loud. A racer? Lin Yan was startled. This boy came to Fire to apply to be a racer? However, looking at the boy's personality, he didn't seem to be suitable for driving fast. If the boy hadn't said so, Lin Yan would have assumed that he was here to apply for a job. Besides, a new team like Fire might not be one of the top teams in the country, but they had strict requirements for their racers. If one didn't have a certain level of fame or ability, Fire wouldn't recruit them. Mobile users, please continue reading. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 450. Teams that hadn't been in contact with the racing track before, or hadn't made a name for themselves on the racing track, and hadn't shown their full potential to others, were generally not accepted by ordinary teams, let alone a new star racing team like Fire. Have you raced before? Lin Yan glanced at the boy as she asked softly. Yeah. The boy nodded at Lin Yan. It's just a friendly competition. It's a competition between racers. Lin Yan was speechless. A friendly competition wasn't considered a formal competition. Are you here to apply for a job? The boy studied Lin Yan curiously. He had asked the same question before but hadn't gotten an answer. I'm not. Lin Yan grinned at the boy. I'm here to recruit a racer. Ha! The child was startled when he heard Lin Yan. This was unexpected. Are you in charge of recruiting racers for Fire? The boy pressed on. I have nothing to do with Fire. I belong to another team. Lin Yan didn't hide the truth. Another team? What team is it? The boy's interest was piqued. Lin Yan pondered for a moment, but she didn't know how to tell him that she belonged to the He family team. Can I take a look at your resume? Lin Yan evaded the question. Yeah, sure. The boy opened his briefcase and took out a stack of documents carefully. Then, he passed it to Lin Yan. Lin Yan had a rough understanding of the boy after she read his resume. The boy's name was Yun Xian. He had just graduated and loved racing. He had joined an amateur team when he was in school. However, because he was a student, he didn't have good equipment. Most of his equipment was rented and he had raced against some low-level teams. As for Yun Xian's results, he was first in each of the 16 matches. Furthermore, Yun Xian's resume contained his unique understanding of racing, as well as some of the navigator's professional knowledge and techniques. However, it was unrealistic for him to join a new team like Fire. Most of the players recruited by any large-scale top team were players with outstanding results. After reading Yun Xian's resume, Lin Yan said, if you want to join a top team, you have to prove yourself. It was the same for both domestic and foreign racing teams. Then what should I do? Yun Xian glanced at Lin Yan. Lin Yan replied bluntly, join a small team first and build your reputation. If you're really capable, a good team will come and recruit you. A small motorcade. Yun Xian looked a little hesitant. But I don't really want to join those small teams. It's not because of the salary, but mainly because the small teams are too weak. I can't learn anything from them. Lin Yan studied Yun Xian with an odd expression on her face. So, the reason why this boy wanted to join a famous team was to learn? Famous racing teams paid a lot of money to hire racers so that they could win races for them. They didn't spend a lot of money to let racers learn, unless they showed amazing talent and potential in the early stages. Generally speaking, this kind of situation was very rare. Chapter 451. You just want to learn? Lin Yan's eyes flickered as she studied Yun Xian. I don't care about money. The boy nodded. But I want to learn more, to surpass my limits. Great. Lin Yan patted Yun Xian's shoulder and said solemnly, you only seek to break through your own limits. You don't have any desire for fame and fortune. Our team has always admired your attitude. You're still young, so you won't be able to earn all the money you want. You should learn more while you're young. Yun Xian eyed Lin Yan intently. Yeah. So do you want to join my team? Lin Yan went straight to the point. Sister, can you tell me which team you belong to? Yun Xian asked curiously. My team is in the midst of restructuring. It's the He family team. Have you heard of it? Asked Lin Yan. The He family team? Yun Xian frowned. But I have never heard of it. Lin Yan was speechless. Indeed, the He family team was a small team that had never participated in major competitions or won many competitions. Hence, not many people had heard of it. Although Lin Yan had represented the He family team to defeat one of the top racers in the country, it had been a challenge competition. Hence, It was normal that Yun Xian hadn't heard of it. Lin Yan glanced at Yun Xian and explained, "We can't compete with the new team that you want to join. However, if you join our team, you will be able to learn a lot." If Yun Xian had joined the team for glory, fame or money, Lin Yan wouldn't have been able to satisfy him. However, it wasn't difficult for Lin Yan to learn and become stronger. "I just read your resume and gave you a suggestion. Given your current situation, joining a small team is the best choice. Of course, even if you're willing to join, you will still have to go through some tests. If you don't meet the requirements, even a small team won't accept you." Lin Yan glanced at Yun Xian as she spoke bluntly. Before Yun Xian could reply, Lin Yan added, "Of course, if you can pass the tests and prove that you are capable, I can promise that you will get what you want as long as you join our team. Otherwise, you can leave." At this moment, Yun Xian looked a little hesitant. However, he knew that Lin Yan was telling the truth. Yun Xian had applied to many famous teams, but ZH1 was the only one who had given him the same advice. Some of the famous teams had even rejected him outright. Although Yun Xian didn't want to join the small convoy, it seemed like this was the only way out given the current situation. Yun Xian didn't want to join a small team for no other reason than that he felt that staying in a small team would only waste his youth and burn away his passion. Based on his experience, he didn't think that he would be able to learn anything from a small team. "Sister, actually, I'm not a newbie. That's why I don't think I'll be able to learn anything useful from a team." Yun Xian glanced at Lin Yan as he spoke. Chapter 452. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up when she heard Yun Xian. She chuckled softly. "If I had thought that you were a newbie, I wouldn't have invited you to join my team. Also..." Lin Yan paused for a moment as her eyes landed on Yun Xian. "No matter what level you are, even if you have participated in international competitions, you will be able to learn a lot by joining our team. You might think that words are useless, but I stand by my words. After you join the team, if you feel that you can't learn anything, you can turn around and leave. This will be written into your contract." Lin Yan had already made her point. If Yun Xian still didn't like her team, she would have no choice but to give up. Yun Xian pondered this for a moment before he nodded. "Okay. If what you said is true, I am willing to join your team. Besides learning, I will also do my best to bring glory to the team. This is my promise. Before I join the team, can I visit the team?" "Of course." Lin Yan glanced at Yun Xian. "Let's exchange numbers first. I will tell you the address and time." After exchanging numbers, Lin Yan parted ways with Yun Xian. Lin Yan had high hopes for Yun Xian. She admired the boy's understanding of racing and hoped that Yun Xian wasn't just good at theory. Lin Yan was surprised that she had joined the new star team. Although she hadn't been able to join the team, she had accidentally bumped into Yun Xian, who had failed the recruitment test. She had invited him to join the He family team. Was this considered a lucky break? Since it was still early, Lin Yan had no intention of slacking off. She headed to the next team. Before long, Lin Yan arrived at KNT, one of the top teams in the capital city. Once upon a time, KNT was one of the earliest racing teams in China. Their strength and scale were also considered top-notch. However, due to the management problems of the current KNT team's boss, the KNT team's situation in recent years was not optimistic. They had not even entered the third level for 4 years. After the past few days, Lin Yan had realized that it would be extremely difficult to find a good racer. No one would believe her. They would treat her like a retard. If she couldn't find anyone, she would have to try something else. Of course, if there was a need, she would consider revealing her identity in front of a few people. Get lost. Lin Yan had just arrived at KNT's headquarters when she heard an angry bellow. Instinctively, Lin Yan's eyes darted forward. A handsome man was pushed out of KNT's headquarters. The man was wearing a KNT uniform and had brown hair. The man staggered forward. He didn't seem to care about being pushed out, and a self-mocking smile hung on his face. "Emo Shuyan, your contract has expired. From today onwards, you will be removed from KNT." A middle-aged man in a suit said coldly as he stood in front of the KNT headquarters. "Is that so? That's great." Emo Shuyan stared at the man and sneered. "Ever since KNT gave all the glory and position that belonged to me to someone else last year, I've been planning to dawdle around. It doesn't matter anymore. Chapter 453. The middle-aged man's eyes were filled with disdain and disgust. That's your own problem. Get lost. After saying that, bang! The door of KNT was slammed shut. Lin Yan was dumbfounded when she saw the door shut. What was going on? Lin Yan's eyes trailed to the man. The man seemed to be a KNT racer, as he was still wearing his KNT uniform. However, he looked a little desolate, and there was a mocking smile on his face. He didn't seem to care that he had been kicked out of KNT. As Lin Yan sized up the man, his eyes inadvertently landed on Lin Yan as well. The man was puzzled when he first saw Lin Yan. Then, he scrutinized her carefully for a moment before his eyes widened in shock. Hold on. You. Yes, it's you. The man stared at Lin Yan for a moment before he strode over to her. Lin Yan was puzzled when she saw this. Hold on. You. Aren't you? That. The man frowned as he stood beside Lin Yan, as though he was trying hard to recall. Lin Pianruo. Suddenly, the man pointed at Lin Yan, looking shocked. Yes, it's you. You're Lin Pianruo. Am I seeing things? You're really Lin Pianruo. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched when she heard the man. Her name was Lin Yan. Lin Pianruo was just a character she had played. Lin Pianruo, I'm your idol. The man looked excited. Lin Yan was speechless. No, you're my idol. The man gazed at Lin Yan excitedly. I've watched it 5 times. I went to the cinema and watched it 5 times. You acted really well. Really, I swear. Lin Yan gazed at the man and fell silent for a moment. Hi. My name isn't Lin Pianruo. My name is Lin Yan. Oh. Sorry, I'm sorry. Your role as Lin Pianruo was too shocking. It left a deep impression on me. So. The man looked awkward. Lin Yan chuckled softly. I can understand. She hadn't expected this. She actually had a fan now. And someone had recognized her. It seemed that she was really starting to become popular. Oh yeah, why are you here? Are you going to KNT? Are you interested in racing too? Oh yeah, the movie Legend is currently casting Yeva. You must be here to fight for the role. Many celebrities have come to watch the movie, the man replied. Lin Yan didn't reply. Instead, she studied the man and asked, Are you a member of the KNT team? The man chuckled softly. However, there was a hint of self-mockery in his laughter. An hour ago I was. Now I have nothing to do with KNT. Lin Yan had witnessed everything that had happened, but she didn't know the full story. She only knew that the former racer had been kicked out of KNT. Let's not talk about that. Miss Lin, can we exchange contact information? I'm a loyal fan of yours. Although I've only watched this movie, I'll definitely contribute to the box office for all of your movies in the future. The man said. Hold on. Lin Yan eyed the man intently. The man was disappointed when he saw Lin Yan's expression. However, it made sense. Which artist would exchange contact information with their fans so casually? You don't have a team now, right? Why don't we talk about a team? Lin Yan's lips curled into a smile. There aren't many slots left for the canvas bag. Everyone, please vote and leave comments. The monthly activity will end in a week. I'll post the details again. The top 200 most active readers on the QQ Reader Circle will receive different exquisite accessories. The deadline will be October 31st at 23:50 p.m. First to third place. Yusheng's custom-made lamp plus Emeng's custom-made humidifier plus Yusheng's custom-made mug plus set of signed postcards plus Lin Yan's suddenly rich canvas bag 4th to 10th place. Humidifier plus mug plus postcards plus canvas bag 11th to 50th place. Mug plus postcards plus canvas bag 51-100 place. Postcards plus canvas bag 101-150 place. Canvas bag 151-200 place. Postcards PS. You can win multiple prizes with other activities. You just need to have the votes for the month of October. The postcards are a set, and one of them is signed. Chapter 454. Emo Shuyun was taken aback by Lin Yan's words. He looked a little confused. She was talking about the team? Emo Shuyun quickly understood what was going on. Recently, an overseas movie, Legend, had been casting for the role of the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Hence, many female celebrities had taken the initiative to approach some famous teams in the industry. They wanted to compete for the role of the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yev. If they knew nothing about racing, they wouldn't be suitable. Hence, Mo Shuyun assumed that Lin Yan had been referring to this topic. Sure. If you want to learn more about racing, I can help you. Mo Shuyun glanced at Lin Yan. Huh. Lin Yan was puzzled by Mo Shuyun's words. Learn more about racing? Since when had she said that she wanted to learn from Mo Shuyun? She had merely said that she wanted to talk about racing teams. There was no connection between the two. Lin Yan, who knew that Mo Shuyun had misunderstood her, smiled and explained, "You've misunderstood. I have no intention of learning about racing." "Then what do you mean, Miss Lin?" Mo Shuyun was puzzled. "It's like this." Lin Yan gathered her thoughts and glanced at Mo Shuyun. "You used to be a racer for beer. Coincidentally, I have a team that is currently in the midst of restructuring. We are lacking experienced racers. Would you be interested in joining us?" After Lin Yan's explanation, Mo Shuyun finally understood what she meant. However, Mo Shuyun didn't seem interested in joining a new team. He replied bluntly, "I see. But I just quit my job." "That's a pity." Lin Yan shook her head at Mo Shuyun. "Miss Lin, may I ask what kind of team you belong to?" Mo Shuyun asked curiously. "It's the He family team," Lin Yan explained to Mo Shuyun. "The He family team?" Mo Shuyun was taken aback. "The He family team? Wait a minute. Is it the He family team that defeated WW? Yeah. Lin Yan nodded. Mo Shuyun couldn't believe his ears. "Miss Lin, are you the boss of the He family team?" As a professional racer for fire, Mo Shuyun was naturally aware of WW's recent humiliation. They had wanted to challenge ZH1, but they had been tricked by ZH1. They had sent a small team like the He family team to compete with WW. To everyone's surprise, WW had been defeated. They had been defeated by the He family's team. Actually, the first half of the race was within everyone's expectations. When the He family team had just started, WW had already pulled ahead of them. However, something unexpected happened during the second half of the race. A racer from the He family team had single-handedly caught up with all the WW racers. He had even overtaken the captain of the WW team and helped the He family team win the race. WW had become a laughingstock. Recently, Mo Shuyun had also been paying attention to this matter. Later on, the competition officials had started investigating. It seemed that someone had reported that the race had been faked, and the analysis of the videos online was unreasonable. As for the truth, Mo Shuyun had no idea. However, Mo Shuyun seemed to have thought of something at the mention of this matter. Wait! Chapter 455. Mo Shuyun stared at Lin Yan in shock. "The racer who beat WW. Is that you?" "I did race against WW and I won." Lin Yan didn't deny it. Meeting One's match hadn't been released yet when the He family team had competed against WW. Hence, Mo Shuyun had never heard of Lin Yan. After that, he had fallen in love with Meeting One's match and read the original novel. That was how he had gotten to know Lin Yan, who had played the role of Lin Pianruo. However, he had never associated her with the racer Lin Yan from the He family. So, the actress he had fallen in love with was Lin Yan from the He family team and had defeated WW? This was too ridiculous. Mo Shuyun found everything that had happened ridiculous. First, he had been kicked out of fire. Then Lin Yan, the actress who had portrayed Lin Pianruo, had approached him and invited him to join her team. He also knew that Lin Yan had been a member of the He family team that had defeated WW. "Idol, can you tell me more about your team? If you want to invite me to join your team, I need to understand everything before I make a decision." Mo Shuyun glanced at Lin Yan as he spoke. Lin Yan didn't reject him. The two of them found a nearby tea house and sat down to chat. Lin Yan didn't hide anything from Mo Shuyun about the He family team situation. She told him the truth, including how the He family team had been reorganized and reformed. "Then, if I join, there will only be 2 racers?" Mo Shuyun gazed at Lin Yan, lost in his thoughts. Actually, Mo Shuyun agreed with Lin Yan's idea and the way she had handled the situation. Mo Shuyun had watched the competition between WW and the He family team. The disparity between the He family team and WW aside, the He family team didn't have a single racer who could be considered a professional racer. They didn't even have the professionalism that a small team should have. If the He family team didn't rebuild, it would be useless no matter how much money they invested or how good their equipment was. I have a cousin who is also a member of the He family team. However, his racing skills. Lin Yan felt a little helpless at the mention of He Luffing. He Luffing's skills were probably inferior to those hooligans. At most, he was on par with them. If he wanted to go further in the professional scene, this was definitely not enough. Unless Lin Yan trained him specifically, that would depend on his own talent. Right now, it's a beginner racing team. As long as they're willing to put in the effort, I'm fine with coaching them. However, if we make a major change, we won't be able to compete because we don't have enough people. Even if we find a racer, we'll need to train them for a period of time. At the very least, we need to develop teamwork on the racetrack, Mo Shuyun said. Before Lin Yan could respond, Mo Shuyun added, Miss Lin, why don't we? If you really want to rebuild the team, I can recruit some racers. Lin Yan had no objections to that. After all, Mo Shuyun was a former racer of fire, so he was very familiar with the racing scene in China. If Mo Shuyun was willing to help find racers, he would naturally be much more efficient than her. Chapter 456. So you're agreeing to join the He family team? Lin Yan eyed Mo Shuyun intently. Mo Shuyun nodded eagerly and grinned. Of course I'm willing. If the He family team doesn't reorganize itself and retain its original members, I definitely won't join. However, it's a different matter altogether. Besides, Queen Pianrua will be my boss. Lin Yan interrupted Mo Shuyun. I'm just a member of the He family team and I have my own job to do. I can't compete in every race. Miss Lin, before I join the He family team, I need to ask you a question. I hope that you can be honest with me. Mo Shuyun eyed Lin Yan intently. What is it? Asked Lin Yan. Mo Shuyun fell silent for some time before he replied. It was the competition between the He family team and WW team. I know that it was a competition between two teams, but in reality, Miss Lin defeated the entire WW team single-handedly. Besides, I watched the video of the competition. It felt like a performance. It's all right. Please continue. Lin Yan grinned. Mo Shuyun nodded. From my point of view, there are only two outcomes for this match. Mo Shuyun paused for a moment before he added, the first possibility is that WW colluded with Miss Lin Yan or ZH1 to fix the competition. The second outcome. Mo Shuyun studied Lin Yan's nonchalant expression. Miss Lin, you crushed WW completely. The difference between WW and you was huge. That's why you were able to end the competition like a performance. So which one do you think it is? Lin Yan chuckled softly. It's hard to say. Mo Shuyun shook his head, looking perplexed. Lin Yan was an actress, while WW was one of the most prestigious teams in the country. Their new captain had performed extremely well in the third level of the world. Logically speaking, given the video of the competition, it had to be a rigged competition. However, no matter how Mo Shuyun thought about it, he still couldn't figure out the purpose of this fixed match. WW and ZH1 were arch-enemies. It was impossible for WW to lose to the He family team that ZH1 had sent to replace them. Unless there was some sort of insider trading that no one knew about, it would be impossible. Miss Lin, could you please tell me if the competition between the He family team and WW team was rigged? Asked Mo Shuyun. Lin Yan grinned. Is WW really that strong? Is it so strong that anyone who defeats them will be accused of rigging the competition? Mo Shuyun's eyes glinted when he heard Lin Yan's reply. Although Lin Yan hadn't said it out loud, her words had made it very obvious. WW was too weak for Lin Yan. At this moment, Mo Shuyun was even more curious about the girl in front of him. Was she really just an actress? Miss Lin, I believe you. Mo Shuyun took a sip of his tea and nodded at Lin Yan. I'm well aware of the relationship between ZH1 and WW. Firstly, WW doesn't lack money. Besides, there's a deep grudge between the two teams. I don't think it's possible for either team to lose to the other team in a fake competition. Chapter 457. Thank you for your understanding and trust. Lin Yan thanked Mo Shuyun. Therefore, I have 2 conditions for joining the He family team. Mo Shuyun replied solemnly. Firstly, I can't accept being a mere member of the team. Given my abilities, I'm more than qualified to be the captain of an established team. Hence, I want to be the captain of the He family team. Lin Yan nodded and agreed to Mo Shuyun's first condition. Just as Mo Shuyun had said, given his experience and ability, it would be a waste for him to be the captain of the He family team. This was the beginning of the He family team's restructuring. If Mo Shuyun was willing to help out, Lin Yan would be more than happy to oblige. What's the second condition? Asked Lin Yan. Mo Shuyun replied, Miss Lin, the second condition is that I want a small share of the He family team. I don't need a lot, just 10% will do. I don't need a salary and I will bring funds into the He family team. Lin Yan was taken aback when she heard Mo Shuyun's second condition. Had she heard wrongly? How could there be such a good deal? Did this man have a grudge against money? Not only would he not need a salary, but he would also bring funds into the He family team. Right now, the He family team was just a beginner team. They hadn't won many competitions, so they couldn't see their future. How could Mo Shuyun want a share of the He family team? Can you tell me why? Lin Yan stared at Mo Shuyun intently. Haha, Miss Lin. Isn't this simple? If what Miss Lin said was true and there was no fake match between you and the WW team, then it can only prove one thing. Miss Lin, your standard should be able to match up to the 3rd level of the international competition. If you add in my training methods and help the He family team recruit better racers, I believe that in less than 5 years, the He family team will become one of the top teams in the country. In at most 7 years, we will be able to compete in the 3rd level of the international competition. I want a share of the He family team because I want to earn money. Mo Shuyun grinned. A top team in 5 years and the 3rd level of the international competition in 7 years? Lin Yan fell into deep thought. If that was really the case, the He family team could just disband immediately. Why would she spend so much effort to reorganize the team? Miss Lin, you don't have to doubt yourself. I believe in my judgment. I am confident that I can make the He family team one of the top teams in the country within 5 years and enter the 3rd level of the international competition within 8 years. Mo Shuyun's eyes lit up with excitement. Lin Yan stared at him intently. Didn't you say 7 years? Then 7 years it is. Lin Yan was speechless. Just like that, Mo Shuyun successfully joined the He family team. The 2 of them agreed to have dinner at the He family's old mansion the next day. They would also introduce Mo Shuyun to the real boss of the He family team. Lin Yan had also sent Yun Xian an address and invited him along. After returning to Cloud Manor, Yun Xian replied, Sister, are there many people? Lin Yan glanced at the message and replied casually, Including you, there are about 5 or 6 people. After some time, Yun Xian replied with a voice message, All right then. I will be there on time. Thank you, sister. Mo Shuyun gave Lin Yan the impression that he was an experienced racer who had been in the racing industry for many years. Yun Xian, on the other hand, was different. He was a newcomer who loved racing. However, Lin Yan didn't feel confident about Yun Xian's personality. Update has ended. Chapter 458. After interacting with Yun Xian for a while, Lin Yan realized that he was shy. Generally speaking, professional racers rarely had this kind of personality. Most racers' styles were directly linked to their personalities. If a racer had a fiery personality, their style on the track would be more violent. If a racer had a steady personality, their style on the track would be more stable and survival. It was all different. Lin Yan had never met a racer like Yun Xian in her racing career. Hence, she was filled with anticipation and curiosity about him. Lin Yan dialed her grandfather's number. Her grandfather's voice came through the phone. Xiaoyan, it's late. Why are you looking for me? Grandfather, I'm going back to the old mansion for dinner tomorrow, replied Lin Yan. Sure. Go back more often. Grandfather, I'll be bringing 2 racers with me tomorrow. One of them will be the captain of the He family team. Lin Yan got straight to the point. The The person on the other end of the line fell silent. He Dinkuin had assumed that Lin Yan would be returning to the old mansion for dinner. He hadn't expected that she would be bringing a racer to the He family's mansion. Captain, are you kidding me? Are you going to bring a random person back to be our captain? Before her grandfather could speak, He Xiong's voice came through the phone. Lin Yan glanced at the time. It should be dinner time now. She reckoned that He Xiong and He Dinkuin were sitting together, so He Xiong had overheard her conversation. Of course, Lin Yan didn't care. If Mo Shuyun had heard the manager of a junior team describe him as a random person, how would he feel? Although Lin Yan wasn't familiar with the racing scene in the country, she knew that a racer like Mo Shuyun might not be famous among the top teams in the country. However, if he were to be placed in a junior team, he would probably be considered a godly figure that was out of their reach. Xiaoyan. All right. I got it. Bring him back tomorrow. He Dinkuin replied. Okay, grandfather. See you tomorrow night. Lin Yan hung up the phone. Shortly after Lin Yan hung up, Pei Yutong barged in hastily. Sister-in-law, where have you been? I've been looking for you all day. You didn't even reply to my messages. Pei Yutong blurted out anxiously. You've been looking for me all day? Lin Yan was startled. Because of Yun Xian and Mo Shuyun, she hadn't had time to look at her phone. Hence, she hadn't known that Pei Yutong was looking for her. I called you a few times and sent dozens of texts, but you didn't reply. Pei Yutong looked aggrieved. Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan stared at him and replied helplessly, Why are you looking for me? What's so urgent? Pei Yutong's eyes gleamed with excitement as he stared at Lin Yan. There's something important. It's a greeting gift. A gift? Lin Yan was startled. What gift? It's a gift for Yeva. Pei Yutong sat down beside Lin Yan. Sister-in-law, we're going to meet Yeva at a private banquet in 2 days. We can't possibly go empty-handed. That would be impolite. What should we give her? It has to be expensive, but it can't be too cheap. I wanted to give her money, but I didn't think it would be appropriate. A car. Doesn't seem appropriate either. Chapter 459. You want to give me a car and money? Lin Yan stared at Pei Yutong in shock. Hadn't his big brother restricted his finances? He had invested all his money into the team. Where had he gotten so much money? Of course, that wasn't the main point. The main point was that he wanted to give the imposter an expensive gift. How could he do that? Pei Yutong could give her his body, but he couldn't give her money. Pei Yutong noticed that something was wrong with Lin Yan, so he asked curiously, Sister-in-law, what's wrong? Lin Yan snapped back to her senses and took a deep breath. Did you burn too much money? Didn't your big brother restrict your finances? Pei Yutong smiled mysteriously. Even if he restricted my finances, and the team has been incurring losses, I still have some money. It's definitely enough for me to give her an expensive gift. Besides, sister-in-law, what do you mean by burning too much money? She is the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Besides, everyone who attended the private banquet has been looking for a gift. It wouldn't be right if I didn't give her a gift. Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yutong. The real Pei Yutong was standing right in front of him, yet he hadn't given her a gift. Instead, he had chosen to give her an imposter. How could a human do that? Sister-in-law, I can't think of anything. Can you help me? Asked Pei Yutong. I don't think that's necessary. Lin Yan contemplated this for some time before she grinned at Pei Yutong. Think about it. The racetrack's Grim Reaper has seen everything. You have to show that you are special in order to make her remember you. Ha! Pei Yutong was dumbfounded. Show that he was special? He wanted to, but how could he show that he was special and make the racetrack's Grim Reaper remember him? Think about it. Everyone else gave her an expensive gift, but you didn't. How special is that? If it were me, I would remember you for the rest of my life. I swear. Lin Yan gazed at Pei Yutong solemnly. Pei Yutong was speechless. Sister-in-law, stop fooling around. I'm serious. I would rather not remember your way of remembering me. Pei Yutong sighed heavily. You've made up your mind. You have to give it to me, right? Lin Yan frowned at him. Pei Yutong hurriedly nodded. That's for sure. What I mean is that the gift has to be unique. It has to be meaningful and classy. It has to be memorable. Lin Yan felt a little helpless. Why wouldn't this kid listen to her? Lin Yan's eyes darted around. Do you believe me? Sister-in-law, of course I believe you, replied Pei Yutong. Let's do it this way. Lin Yan pondered this for a moment before she added, you don't have to worry about the gift. I'll help you prepare it. It will definitely be classy and expensive. What do you think? Really? Pei Yutong's eyes lit up. Pei Yutong wasn't good at giving gifts. He had never given any of his previous girlfriends anything. Don't worry, leave it to me. Just transfer the money to me. Lin Yan nodded. I'm relieved. Pei Yutong heaved a sigh of relief. Oh yeah. Pei Yutong, who was about to leave, suddenly turned around and told Lin Yan, Sister-in-law, there will be a private banquet in 3 days. The top racers in the country will be competing with Yeva. I've booked a seat for you. Let's go and watch together. Okay. Lin Yan agreed readily. Chapter 460. After Pei Yutong left, Lin Yan fell into deep thought. From what Pei Yutong had revealed, it was obvious that the imposter was quite capable. Otherwise, she wouldn't have dared to compete with the top teams in the country. Wouldn't she have exposed herself if she had done so? In other words, the imposter was confident that she could beat the best team in the country. Otherwise, she wouldn't have agreed to compete. However, Lin Yan had no idea what was going on. She would have to attend the banquet to find out more. Lin Yan lay on her bed, feeling bored. She scrolled through Weibo and realized that Wei Shufeng's name had become a trending topic. Wei Shufeng had only posted one post on Weibo. 3 days from now will be the happiest day of my life. Wait for me. There were more than 100,000 comments and shares. Most of them were asking about what had happened and why he would be the happiest day of his life in 3 days. However, Wei Shufeng didn't reply. Others might not have known, but Lin Yan was well aware of it. 3 days from now, the imposter would be holding a private banquet. As Yeva's hardcore fan, Wei Shufeng had naturally been invited. Based on Pei Yutong's explanation, Lin Yan had learned that everyone had to sign a confidentiality agreement. The racetrack's Grim Reaper had retired due to her injury and had been keeping a low profile. She had never appeared in public or accepted interviews. Hence, anyone who attended the banquet was not allowed to speak to the media. If the media reported on it, the banquet would be cancelled. Those who were invited were all Yeva's hardcore fans. As Yeva's hardcore fans, they naturally knew Yeva's style and personality. Hence, even if they didn't sign a confidentiality agreement, no one would reveal this matter to anyone. Lin Yan was guessing that Lin Shuya would reveal to the public that she had met the racetrack's Grim Reaper after the banquet. Then, she would be able to get the role of Yeva in Legend. Lin Yan glanced at Wei Shufeng's Weibo before she exited it. 3 days later, she would give everyone a surprise. Lin Shuya wanted to ride on Yeva's popularity? No way. The imposter wanted to impersonate her to make money? No way. She had already started to despise her, but the imposter was using her identity to make money. She was 100,000 times more despicable than Lin Shuya. The next day, Lin Yan had originally wanted to meet Yun Xian and Mo Shuyun. However, Yun Xian wasn't feeling well and had to go to the hospital, while Mo Shuyun had to settle some personal matters. Hence, they had to meet at the He family's mansion that night. Lin Yan searched for news about Yeva. In the end, the results were the same as before. The racetrack's Grim Reaper was severely injured. The new king of the racetrack's Grim Reaper had been defeated. The WZ team had lost the competition for the first time. The racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yeva, had retired temporarily due to her injuries. It had to be said that the die-hard fans who were invited to the private banquet were indeed very tight-lipped. They did not leak any information to the outside world. When Pei Yutong and ZH1 had told her about this, they had asked her to promise that she wouldn't reveal anything to the public. Actually, Lin Yan couldn't wait to spread this news. She wanted all the media to know that Yeva had come to the country. Then, the domestic racing industry would be hyped up because of Yeva's arrival. Yeva's identity as an imposter would definitely be exposed. Chapter 461. However, Lin Yan decided against it. She didn't want Yeva's name to appear in the public eye. If they found out that she had been banned for using illegal drugs, she would be the one who would embarrass herself. Besides, there was no need to mobilize so many people just to deal with an imposter. Actually, Lin Yan was most afraid that the imposter would come prepared. If the media were to be alerted, the imposter would be able to make money quickly and leave. If that happened, the imposter's identity might not even be exposed. That night, Lin Yan texted Mo Shuyun and Yun Xian before taking a cab to the He family's mansion. Yun Xian was already on the way, but he might be a few minutes late due to the traffic. Mo Shuyun had just left his house as well. Yun Xian had been feeling unwell, so he had gone to the hospital. Mo Shuyun, on the other hand, had no sense of time at all. They had agreed to meet at the He family's mansion at 6, but Mo Shuyun had left at exactly that time. When they arrived, Wei Shufeng opened the door for Lin Yan. Lin Yan realized that all the members of the He family team were there, including He Xiong and He Mingkai. "Xiaoyan, you're here." The old master, He Dingkuan, strode out and glanced at Lin Yan. "Grandfather." Lin Yan nodded and sat down. "Why? I heard that you found a captain for the He family team?" Lin Yan had just sat down when He Xiong glanced at her and spoke sarcastically. "Where is he? Let's see what kind of monster he is." He Xiong pressed on when Lin Yan remained silent. "Ha ha." Qing Li sneered coldly. "Miss Lin Yan, as long as you don't harm the He family team, we will survive. We don't need a captain. Mingkai is more than capable enough." Lin Yan had just sat down when Yun Xian texted her. "Sister, I'm here. I'm outside. Can you open the door for me?" Lin Yan stood up and opened the door. Everyone's gaze turned towards the door and saw a young and handsome boy dressed in casual clothes standing quietly at the door. If he didn't speak and the sky was dark, he would have been mistaken for a quiet girl. "Sister." Yun Xian greeted Lin Yan softly. "Yun Xian, come in." Lin Yan grinned at him. Yun Xian nodded, took off his shoes, and carefully walked into the He family mansion. "Miss Lin Yan, are you trying to tell us that this boy is the captain you found for the He family team?" Qing Li sneered coldly when he saw Yun Xian enter the room. After Qing Li's words left his mouth, the He family members all began to laugh mockingly. As they looked at the silent Yun Xian, the disdain and ridicule in their eyes were not concealed at all. They wouldn't even agree to let a young, autistic boy like him be their assistant or a substitute member, let alone their captain. Yun Xian had assumed that only a few people would be attending the banquet. However, to his surprise, the He family mansion was filled with dozens of people dressed in the He family team's uniforms. Yun Xian stood at the side almost instinctively, not saying a word. Update is over. Looking for monthly votes and recommendation votes. The winner's list of 50 canvas bags will be announced at the end of the month. Chapter 462. Do you know how to race? No, do you know how to drive? Qing Li's eyes trailed to Yun Xian as he sneered coldly. Yes. Yun Xian replied after a moment. Lin Yan, what kind of joke is this? How could you make a random person the captain of the He family team? He Xiong glared at Lin Yan and hissed coldly. Lin Yan, let me tell you. You can't even be a substitute, let alone a captain. A person with such a personality isn't suitable to race. Also, you better stay away from the He family team. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because the old master dotes on you. Do you want to destroy the He family team? Dream on. Dad, why are you wasting your breath on such a person? If I were you, I would have thrown them out. He Mingkai smirked. He laughing stared at Lin Yan, as though he wanted to say something. However, he didn't know what to say. Miss Lin Yan, how could such a person join the He family team and be the captain? One of the navigators glanced at Lin Yan. I'm afraid you must have drunk too much. Shut up. Old Master He Dingkuan frowned with displeasure on his face. Old Master, it's not that we don't want to say anything, but your granddaughter doesn't know anything. She brought along an unknown person, yet she wants him to join the He family team. Isn't that a joke? Qing Li quipped. Before the old man could say anything, someone knocked on the door again. Lin Yan shot He luffing a look, and he stepped forward to open the door. Mo Shuyun was standing at the door with a smile on his face. He ignored He luffing and strode into the mansion. Idol, I'm here. Mo Shuyun grinned at Lin Yan. Lin Yan grinned back at him. Have a seat. Okay. Mo Shuyun placed the gifts he had bought aside and scanned the crowd solemnly. It seems like everyone here is a member of the He family team. Let me introduce myself. Forget it. Forget it, the past isn't important. From now on, I will be the captain of the He family team. You can call me Captain Mo, or Captain Shu, or Captain Yun. Before anyone could say anything, Mo Shuyun shook his head and said seriously, Forget it, Captain Shuyun isn't good. It's inauspicious. Just call me Captain Mo. All the members of the He family team roared with laughter at Mo Shuyun's words. Who are you? Is there something wrong with your brain? Why are you still calling yourself Captain Mo? Lin Yan, you're hilarious. First you found a little boy. In the end, you found an idiot. What kind of grudge do you have against the He family team? Mo Shuyun furrowed his brows. Not only was he the captain of the He family team, but he was also a shareholder. Who the hell would talk to a shareholder like that? He was only one contract away from becoming a shareholder. What kind of respect was that? You and you. And you. That's right, all of you are fired. Mo Shuyun sneered as he pointed at Qing Li and the others. Mo Shuyun's words caused everyone to roar with laughter. Ha ha ha. What did this fool say? I'm fired? Me too. I'm fired too. I'm laughing so hard that I'm in tears. Chapter 463. Lin Yan glanced at Mo Shuyun. Captain Mo, this is my grandfather. He is also the boss of the He family team. Mo Shuyun nodded and glanced at He Dinkuan. Hello, old master. My name is Mo Shuyun. I used to be the captain of fire. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. He Dinkuan greeted Mo Shuyun softly. However, Yun Xian's expression changed slightly. He finally raised his head and looked at Mo Shuyun. It's really you. The former ace of Team Fire. I've seen your race. You're amazing. Fire? Ha ha ha. What are you talking about? I'm the captain of ZH1. We all know the captain of fire. His name isn't Mo Shuyun and he doesn't look like you. Miss Lin is indeed an actress. How could she find such an actor to act with us? Fire had a long history and was the first racing team in the country. Hence, the He family team naturally knew about Fire. Are you talking about the current captain? He is my apprentice. I was indeed Fire's captain a few years ago. Mo Shuyun's eyes flickered with an indescribable emotion when he mentioned Fire's current captain. There was also a hint of resentment in his eyes. What? You were the one who groomed Fire's captain? Yes, I admire you. Actually, I have a secret. I groomed Lang Mang. No one else knows about it. You guys are amazing, but I can't. I only groomed the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Yeva. Qing Li grinned mockingly at him. Mo Shuyun shrugged nonchalantly. He couldn't be bothered to argue with the He family team. Instead, he took out his resume and handed it to the old master. Old master, how about this? Let's go to the venue and test my skills. Due to certain reasons, I haven't had many opportunities to compete in the past few years. Hence, I have to rely on my abilities. I'll race alone against all the members of the He family team. If anyone can finish the first lap, I'll leave immediately. If not, all the pests of the He family team will have to scram. Mo Shuyun grinned. Two of the He family team members had specially searched for information online. They glanced at the photo on their phones before glancing at the man in front of them. According to the information they found, he was indeed the former captain of Fire. However, he looked very handsome and energetic. However, the man in front of them only had a slight resemblance to the man in the photo. Furthermore, the name of the former captain of Fire in the photo was Ryan, not Mo Shuyun. I don't think he's alone, one of the racers whispered to Qing Li. Qing Li took the phone and studied it carefully. Then he replied coldly, they do look alike, but it's obvious that they aren't the same person. Besides, didn't the higher-ups say that Ryan isn't Mo Shuyun? Besides, do you really think that Lin Yan could find the ex-captain of Fire and join the He family team? Use your ass to think. Is it realistic? Qing Li was right. They had been worrying too much. Any normal person with a brain would not leave a well-known big team to join a small team that could be disbanded at any time, let alone the captain of a big team. Old master, what do you think? Mo Shuyun glanced at He Dingkuan with a smile. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit IAI. Chapter 464. Alright, sure. He Dingkuan contemplated for a moment before he nodded in agreement. Actually, the old master had his suspicions about Mo Shuyun's identity. Lin Yan had no reason to lie to him, but he was afraid that she had run into a scammer. He Dingkuan knew about fire, but he didn't know much about them. Regardless of this person's identity, he had to go to the venue to test the car. He had no reason to reject him. If you want to test the car, of course you can. If you lose, you have to crawl out of here. He Mingkai glanced at Lin Yan. You too. Crawl out with him. Don't let me see you again. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up. Sure. If the He family team wanted to humiliate themselves, she wouldn't mind. Mo Shuyun had indeed been the former captain of fire. He had been nicknamed the Little King Ryan, and he had been an awe-inspiring racer. However, at that time, the domestic racing industry hadn't been that popular. Furthermore, Mo Shuyun had left fire for 2 years due to some personal matters. Not long after he had returned, he had been left on the bench and rarely had a chance to compete. Lin Yan had no idea why that had happened. Regardless, Lin Yan was certain that Mo Shuyun could beat all the members of the He family team with his eyes closed. I think, suddenly Yun Xian, who was standing beside Lin Yan, said softly, I can go and try too. Let's go together. Lin Yan grinned. Okay. Yun Xian nodded happily. At the mention of racing, Yun Xian's cells seemed to come alive. His eyes glowed with excitement. 15 minutes later, they arrived at the He family team's rented venue. The He family team's cars were parked there. At that moment, the sky was a little dark, but for professional racers, they could easily drive in any kind of weather. Captain. I can replace you and beat them. Suddenly, Yun Xian's eyes landed on Mo Shuyun as he muttered softly, Last night, I watched a lot of He family team's competition videos. They are too weak. What nonsense are you spouting? One of the racers was enraged by Yun Xian's words. He swung his fist at Yun Xian. However, before his fist could land, Lin Yan, who was standing next to him, intercepted it. Lin Yan was extraordinarily strong. No matter how hard the racer tried, he couldn't free his fist from Lin Yan's grip. Watch your mouth. Lin Yan's eyes gleamed coldly as she hissed at the racer. Then, she released her grip. Damn it, this woman looked so weak, but how could she be so strong? Humph, finding 2 pieces of trash to pretend to be experts. Let's see how you'll die. The driver grunted and rubbed his aching knuckles. Without looking back, he opened the door and entered. Don't worry. Mo Shuyun's gaze landed on Yun Xian as he smiled and said, After they scram, I'll personally test you. If you're not strong enough, you'll have to scram like them. So, be prepared. All right. Yun Xian nodded with a serious expression. Chapter 465. Naturally, Mo Shuyun didn't have a car of his own, so he picked one at random. Are you guys ready for your last race with the He family team? Mo Shuyun opened the driver's door and stepped inside. He didn't forget to glance at the racer as he spoke. The He family team members sneered coldly at Mo Shuyun's words. No one was more familiar with the He family team's training ground than they were. Even if this man was a professional racer from Fire, he wouldn't be able to beat them in the He family team's training ground. Mo Shuyun, who was bored by the fact that no one was paying attention to him, entered his car. Soon, more than a dozen cars roared to life. He Mingkai's car was the first to leave the starting point. Mo Shuyun followed closely behind him. In just a few seconds, all the He family cars had left the starting point. Although He Mingkai's car was extremely fast, it did not take long for Mo Shuyun to overtake it under the watchful eyes of the crowd. Mo Shuyun drove his car in front of He Luffing's car and slowed down. He seemed to be waiting for He Mingkai. However, just as He Luffing was about to overtake Mo Shuyun's car sped up and sped up. He had fooled He Mingkai and sped away. He Xiong's face darkened when he saw this. No matter how stupid the He family team was, they realized that the man Lin Yan had brought was indeed an expert. However, He Xiong and the others couldn't figure out why this man, who was so good at racing, would be willing to join a low-level team like the He family team. If any of them had been as good as him, they wouldn't have been tempted, no matter how much money the He family team offered. Joining a low-level team like the He family team would be akin to burning one's career. It would be a joke to risk one's youth and future. Be it in terms of future, rewards or glory, a low-level team couldn't even be compared to a mid-level team, let alone a famous team. Xiaoyan, He Dingkuan strode over to Lin Yan, his eyes filled with shock. Emotion. Was he really a professional racer in fire? He was even the captain? Lin Yan nodded and replied, Grandfather, this is what happened. After confirming with Lin Yan, He Dingkuan was still in disbelief. Logically speaking, it was impossible for a professional racer from fire, who used to be the captain of the team, to suddenly join the He family team and become the captain of the He family team. For example, if the richest man in the world didn't want to live a good life and insisted on becoming a beggar, he would rather suffer the disdain of others and beg for a living. Therefore, this matter in itself was an unreasonable thing. However, the truth was right before their eyes. Regardless of whether Mo Shuyun was a professional racer for fear or not, his control over the track during the race was simply too terrifying. This was the He family team's training ground, so the track was extremely complicated. The He family team had been training there for a long time, so they were already used to it. They knew every corner of the track like the back of their hands. Even so, Mo Shuyun's car had already left the He family team far behind. Dash update is over. Begging for monthly votes. Begging for tickets. Chapter 466. Therefore, it no longer mattered whether or not Mo Shuyun was a professional racer in the advanced racing team, nor had he ever been a captain. What mattered was that Mo Shuyun was indeed an expert. A team like the He family team couldn't be compared to him. Good. Very good. Old Master He Dingkuan's eyes gleamed with excitement. If such an expert joined the He family team, the He family team would have boundless hope. They might even be able to get rid of their title as a junior team. Oh yeah. Suddenly, the old master's eyes landed on Yun Xian, who was standing beside Lin Yan. He Dingkuan's interest in this boy was piqued. Yun Xian didn't look very old, so he should have graduated from school not too long ago. Hi, boss. Yun Xian glanced at He Dingkuan and greeted him shyly. Lin Yan had introduced him to the old man. He was the boss of the He family team. Hi, you're Yun Xian, right? He Dingkuan smiled at him. Yeah. Yun Xian nodded. Lin Yan told He Dingkuan about Yun Xian. He Dingkuan wasn't surprised. Actually, most racing enthusiasts would choose to join a famous team after they decided to pursue a career. Very few of them would choose to join a small team. However, He Dingkuan wasn't sure how good Yun Xian was. Although Yun Xian had achieved some outstanding results during his student days, that didn't mean that he could become a professional racer. Before He Dingkuan could say anything else, a loud explosion rang out. He Dingkuan and the others turned to see that Mo Shuyun had returned to the starting point and completed the second lap. The He family team, including He Mingkai, had been left far behind. Mo Shuyun opened the door and stepped out of the car. He removed his helmet and glanced at He Dingkuan. Old master, we should replace our team members a long time ago. They are all hooligans. None of them are useful. If Mo Shuyun had said this earlier, he would have been mocked and ridiculed. However, no one dared to retort now. Speed was everything to a racer. In the racing industry, the strong always had the right to speak. With Mo Shuyun's skills, it was unthinkable for him to join a team like theirs. Never in their wildest dreams would they have thought that this person was actually the captain of Team Fire. To be precise, they hadn't expected that Lin Yan would be able to recruit the captain of Fire. After running for a long time, He Mingkai and the others finally reached the finish line. Their faces were covered in dirt, and they looked like defeated roosters. At this moment, they could no longer make sarcastic remarks. Lin Yan grinned at them. So, can we talk about reorganizing the team now? He Mingkai and He Xiong stood there with dark faces, not saying a word. Everyone else was also silent. The old man said, Xiaoyan, it's getting late. Tomorrow, Let's arrange a time with Captain Mo and our young friend Yun Xian to talk in detail. Now that she had proven Mo Shuyun's capability, it meant that Lin Yan had found a reliable teammate. Hence, she wasn't in a hurry to test Yun Xian. Lin Yan glanced at Mo Shuyun and Yun Xian. Mo Shuyun shrugged. Sure, I'm fine with anything. My idol has the final say. Although Yun Xian was disappointed that he wouldn't be able to race today, he nodded obediently. I'm fine with anything too. He hadn't expected that Lin Yan would be able to recruit the former captain of Team Fire. No wonder she had been so confident that she would be able to learn something here. Lin Yan replied, All right, it's settled then. Grandfather, let's talk another day. Chapter 467. It was late at night by the time Lin Yan returned to the villa. Worried that she might wake Pei Yuqing up, Lin Yan pushed the door open softly. She changed into slippers and walked out of the room. She saw a dim lamp in the living room. Under the gentle light, Pei Yuqing was leaning against the backrest. The man had removed his glasses and placed them on a pile of documents. His eyes were half closed, as though he had fallen asleep. Lin Yan hadn't expected Pei Yuqing to be in the living room at this hour. Instinctively, she breathed more softly. Why wasn't Pei Yuqing asleep? If he was working, why didn't he go to the study? Pei Yuqing didn't seem to be in a deep sleep. The moment Lin Yan approached him, he opened his eyes slowly. The man looked a little dazed. When his eyes landed on Lin Yan, he gradually regained his focus. He picked up his glasses and put them on. You're back. Lin Yan nodded. I had to discuss something with grandfather today, so I came back late. Did I disturb you? Ever since Lin Yan had said that he was in her heart, Pei Yuqing hadn't objected to her addressing him as sir. Pei Yuqing pinched his eyebrows and stood up. Are you hungry? I saved some food for you. Lin Yan's heart skipped a beat as she swallowed her saliva. Thank you, Mr. Pei. But it's okay. I've eaten tonight. Besides, you know that we have to maintain our figures, so we can't eat too much. Pei Yuqing didn't insist. Okay. Rest early. Lin Yan nodded furiously. You too, Mr. Pei. Lin Yan asked casually, Mr. Pei, were you working earlier? Yeah. Why? Asked Pei Yuqing. Lin Yan scratched her head. Nothing. Nothing. I just found it strange. Are you used to working in the living room? Besides, it's already so late. Why didn't you go to the study? Sitting in the study would be more comfortable than sitting on the sofa, right? She remembered that this wasn't the first time she had seen Pei Yuqing working on the sofa in the living room. It was already so late, yet he was still in the living room. Lin Yan couldn't help but feel puzzled. Pei Yuqing raised his eyebrows when he heard the girl. Miss Lin, you really don't know? Huh. Lin Yan blinked in confusion. Should I know? How did she know? She didn't understand his logic. Pei Yuqing noticed that the girl looked lost and confused. Helplessness flitted across his eyes as he gazed at the girl intently. Miss Lin, I'm waiting for you. I was waiting for you. Lin Yan blinked her eyes repeatedly. It took her a long time to comprehend what he meant. Did he mean that he was working in the living room because he was waiting for her to come home? Before Lin Yan could snap out of her daze, the man added, I'm working in the living room not because I'm used to it, but because I can see you more often. Lin Yan was speechless. Pei Yuqing's words couldn't be more direct. If Lin Yan still couldn't understand, she wouldn't be a straight girl. She would be retarded. When Pei Yuqing realized that the girl had finally understood him, a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Chapter 468. Miss Lin, do you understand what I'm saying? Pei Yuqing asked patiently. Lin Yan was so embarrassed that she wished she could find a hole to hide in. She nodded her head furiously. She got it. Stop mocking her EQ. Why was this man able to say such things without even blushing or having his heart skip a beat? He was indeed a boss. Pei Yuqing stopped abruptly and said, Rest early. Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief and replied hastily, Okay. Pei Yuqing strode over to the girl and planted a gentle kiss on her forehead. Good night. Lin Yan replied, Good night. Lin Yan stood rooted to the ground in a daze even after Pei Yuqing had entered the bedroom. During the time she had been staying with Pei Yuqing, other than the day when he had suddenly gone berserk, everything had been peaceful and harmonious. She had gradually realized that as long as she didn't cross Pei Yuqing's bottom line, he could be very patient and gentle. Usually, they would be busy with their own things and they would get along very well. However, after a few lessons, Lin Yan had a deep understanding of Pei Yuqing's dangerous side. Hence, she didn't dare to let her guard down just because they seemed harmonious on the surface. This was also the reason why she hadn't found a good time to agree to Xing Chen's request. Lin Yan's head throbbed as she went back to her room. Suddenly, her WeChat notification rang. She had been added to a group chat. The person who had added her was Xing Chen. She didn't use QQ often, so she had given her WeChat to Xing Chen. Of course, another reason was that she really didn't want to see Xing Chen's signature again. There was another person in the group chat. That person's ID was celebrating the new year joyfully. Misty City amid the setting sun typed. Lin Yan sent a question mark over. Celebrating the new year joyfully, typed. Sister-in-law. I'm Qin Huan. Sister-in-law, your WeChat ID is so nice. It's so classy. Lin Yan was speechless. This ID was also bloody tears. She didn't want to mention it. Xing Chen. Miss Lin, do you know the progress of that matter? Lin Yan sighed and replied, I haven't found a suitable opportunity yet. I really don't know how to cheer Mr. Pei up. Xing Chen. I understand. It's okay. I can wait. I've waited for so long anyway. Celebrate the new year happily. Sister-in-law. How could there not be a suitable opportunity? There were too many opportunities. For example, after you hold Brother Yu's hand. For example, after you kissed and hugged Brother Yu. For example, when you lie down with Brother Yu and watch the stars and the moon at night and discuss life philosophy. Lin Yan was speechless. That was enough. Lin Yan replied speechlessly, I won't have such a chance. Thank you. Her interaction with Pei Yuqing had always been courteous and respectful. At most, they would kiss each other on the forehead every morning and night. On the other end of the phone, Qin Huan sent a voice message. No way, sister-in-law. Your progress is too slow. What era are you people from? You've been dating for so long, yet you're still moving at such a snail's pace? If you really don't know how to do it, we can teach you. Lin Yan replied decisively. Who said that I don't know how to do it? It's not like I haven't dated before. I'm experienced, all right? Chapter 469. Lin Yan chatted with them angrily for a while before she put down her phone and fell into deep thought. Was she really that bad at dating? That couldn't be. Lin Yan turned on her laptop and typed. What should I do in a relationship? How can I make my boyfriend happy? How can I make him agree to my request? There were all sorts of answers online, and Lin Yan's head was spinning. She wanted to eat ice cream together, drink with 2 straws, put her hand in his pocket in winter, use a couple's profile picture, wear couple's clothes, take a walk together after dinner, ride the merry-go-round at the amusement park, shave his beard, take him out for spicy soup, and attend a concert together. Damn it. It was just a relationship. Why did she have to do so many things? What was the point of doing these boring things together? They might as well go for a race. This guy didn't make sense at all. Lin Yan sighed as she read on. Life was really unpredictable. A few months ago, she had been searching for ways to break up with her boyfriend. Now, she was searching for ways to fall in love with her boyfriend. Lin Yan's stomach growled as she read on. It had been a long time since dinner, and her body was drained. She was famished, but she wouldn't dare eat the food that Pei Yuqing had left for her. Fortunately, she had a lot of snacks. Lin Yan took out some chocolates, candies, crispy noodles, and spicy snacks from the drawer. As she ate, she took out a notebook to jot down her findings. His earnestness was comparable to when she had been cramming for her acting lessons back then. It was almost midnight when Lin Yan put down her pen and got ready to go to bed. Lin Yan took a shower and changed into a set of clean pajamas. Then, she sat down at her desk to sort out her homework for the day before going to bed. She was sorting out her notebook when she suddenly felt a little dizzy. It was as though a strange force had penetrated the wall and was attacking her. What was going on? Was she too tired? Was she so tired that she felt dizzy? No, that's not right. This feeling is a little overwhelming, and it's extremely familiar. Oh no. It was that pervert. Lin Yan clutched her head and hurriedly reached for the peachwood sword. However, before she could move, her vision turned black, and she lost consciousness. When Lin Yan opened her eyes again, they were clear and bright. She didn't look tired at all. That pair of cold eyes seemed to be devoid of any human emotions. A few minutes ago, Pei Yuqing had been leaning against the headboard, ready to fall asleep. Of course, sleep did not go so smoothly. No matter how calm he appeared, he couldn't lie to himself. Just like now, his consciousness had finally broken through his shackles and entered Lin Yan's body once again. Pei Yuqing was used to this, so he remained calm this time. However, in the very next moment, his gaze turned completely chaotic. Chapter 470. No matter how composed Pei Yuqing was, he hadn't expected to encounter such a scene when his consciousness had transmigrated. Pei Yuqing cursed under his breath as he grabbed a coat from the rack and put it on. He covered Lin Yan's body tightly. Only after doing all this did his breathing return to normal. However, the girl's face was rosy and her hair was slightly damp. She had just showered, so he could see her in the mirror. Pei Yuqing flipped the mirror upside down. If this were to continue, he would probably do something shameful to himself. Out of habit, Pei Yuqing instinctively wanted to smoke. However, he remembered that he was in Lin Yan's body, so he gave up. He glanced at the colorful bags of snacks on the table and instinctively reached out to pick up a piece of chocolate. Pei Yuqing recalled the girl saying that she wasn't hungry after eating. Hadn't she said that she wasn't hungry? However, girls seem to like snacks. Was it really that delicious? He had been born without a sense of taste, so he had never understood the passion humans had for food. Pei Yuqing opened the bag of chocolate casually and tore off a small piece before putting it into his mouth. When the sweet chocolate melted in his mouth, Pei Yuqing froze in a daze. It had just been a casual action, but he had never imagined that he would have a taste for the first time. Because he didn't have a sense of taste, everything tasted like wax to him. However, he was experiencing something that he had never experienced before through Lin Yan's body. He had almost forgotten that he was using Lin Yan's body. This was an unexpected gain. So this was the taste of sweetness? Indeed, it tasted the same as hers. He tried all the snacks that Lin Yan had placed on the table with the intention of researching them. Pei Yuqing's eyes scanned the room and landed on Lin Yan's laptop and computer screen. Pei Yuqing glanced at Lin Yan's search history. What should one do when they were in a relationship? How should one make their boyfriend happy? How should one make her boyfriend agree to her request? Pei Yuqing raised an eyebrow, as though he was surprised. He had thought that she would search for how to break up with her boyfriend. He hadn't expected that she would study these questions. Pei Yuqing naturally knew that there had to be a reason for Lin Yan's abnormal behavior. However, this wasn't important to him. He liked the result. Then, he noticed that Lin Yan had opened her notebook. She had listed 100 things that she should do with her boyfriend when she was in a relationship. Sharing an ice cream, drinking a drink with 2 straws, winter putting her hand in his pocket, using a couple's head. If Lin Yan had been sober, she would have been stunned by her own beauty. How could she smile with such elegance, such beauty, and such an A? Lin Yan's notebook was filled with scribbles. She had even written comments in the margins. This is too boring. Who would be so bored as to run over to do such senseless things? What the hell is using 2 straws to drink the same beverage? Could it be some kind of magical ritual? Are people in love all so weird? What was the point? Simply speechless. I don't understand at all. Pei Yuqing couldn't help but chuckle as he tapped his fingers on the list of topics in love. It's okay if you don't understand. I'll teach you next time. Chapter 471. It's okay if you don't understand. I'll teach you next time. Pei Yuqing muttered softly. He picked up the girl's phone and used her fingerprint to unlock it. Then, he used Lin Yan's phone to send himself a message. Mr. Pei, are you free this weekend? I really want to go on a date with you. The next morning, when Lin Yan woke up, she realized that she was lying on the bed. She had just woken up, so she was still in a daze. When she recalled what had happened last night, she sat up abruptly. Oh no! Her illness had acted up again last night. She couldn't have done something weird again, right? Lin Yan scrambled to her feet in a panic. She scanned the room anxiously to see if she could find any clues. Everything in the room was the same as it had been. Except, where were all the snacks on the table? All that was left was a pile of plastic bags. Lin Yan stared at the snacks on the table in shock. She hadn't eaten much last night. How had she finished them all? Damn it, did she eat all of this into her stomach? F***ck. She was going to die of obesity. What was going on? Had she become a glutton instead of causing trouble this time? Lin Yan checked again and realized that all the snacks had been eaten. Pei Yuqing and Pei Nanshu wouldn't enter her room casually, let alone sneak in to eat her snacks. Hence, there was only one possibility. She must have eaten the snacks. Lin Yan broke down at the thought of having to work hard to get rid of these calories. Oh yeah, Pei Yuqing. More importantly, had she done anything to Pei Yuqing? Lin Yan snuck out of the room to check on the situation. She had just walked out of the room when she heard a squeak. The door to the room next door had been pushed open. Pei Yuqing had walked out of the room. Hi, Mr. Pei. Good morning. Lin Yan, who had been peeking her head out of the room, hastily straightened her body and greeted him calmly. Good morning, Miss Lin. Pei Yuqing smiled. Lin Yan scrutinized Pei Yuqing's expression and didn't think anything was amiss. Nothing had happened, right? Lin Yan deliberated for a moment before she asked cautiously. Mr. Pei, did anything special happen last night? Pei Yuqing glanced at the girl calmly. What do you mean, Miss Lin? Lin Yan scratched her head. Don't worry. It's nothing. I'm just asking, casually asking. Did I do anything strange last night? No, replied Pei Yuqing. Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief when he added, Except for what? Lin Yan's expression tightened. Pei Yuqing asked, Miss Lin, have you forgotten? Lin Yan was startled. Remember what? He replied, Miss Lin sent me a text in the middle of the night. Ha! Lin Yan's head throbbed as she whipped out her phone. F***ck. She knew it. She knew she was going to cause trouble. What did she send him in the middle of the night? Lin Yan clicked on the message page frantically. Indeed, she had sent Pei Yuqing a message last night. The text was, Mr. Pei, are you free this weekend? I want to go on a date with you. Lin Yan was speechless. Chapter 472. Lin Yan couldn't bear to look at the message. Looking at the cute wavy emoji at the end of the message, she was speechless. Was she really the one who had sent this mushy message? No, believe. Pei Yuqing replied gently, I will spare some time for you on the weekend. Lin Yan's heart was filled with tears, but she pretended to be elated. Haha, great. That's great. Damn it. This was insane. Could it be that these were her true thoughts in the depths of her heart? That was impossible. With a heavy heart, Lin Yan arrived at the He family mansion at the appointed time. Mo Shuyun and Yun Xian were there too. The old master, He Dingkuan, stood outside the door to welcome them. You're early today. Lin Yan had just gotten out of the car when she saw Mo Shuyun and He Dingkuan chatting. Idol, it's a blessing to join the He family team. I get to see you every day. Mo Shuyun's eyes trailed to Lin Yan as he grinned. Sister. Yun Xian glanced at Lin Yan. Xiaoyan, everyone is here. Let's talk inside, said the old master. Lin Yan and the others didn't say anything else as they entered the He family's mansion. Today, they didn't see any of the other team members. Only He Xiong, He Lufeng, and He Xiong were there. He Xiong and his sons' faces darkened when they saw Mo Shuyun. They hadn't expected that Lin Yan would find an expert to join the He family team in such a short period of time. That night's test was enough to prove the situation. No matter how displeased He Xiong and He Mingkai were, they couldn't say anything else about it. Hello, Captain Mo. He Lufeng got up immediately and greeted Mo Shuyun. This is my cousin, He Lufeng. Lin Yan introduced him to Mo Shuyun. Mo Shuyun nodded and glanced at He Lufeng. Brother Lufeng, your cousin, Miss Lin Yan, often talks about you. She says that your racing skills are terrible. Everyone, including Lin Yan, was taken aback when they heard Mo Shuyun. Wasn't Mo Shuyun being a little too direct? Although He Lufeng's racing skills were terrible, his attitude was good and he had a clear understanding of himself. Although there were many shortcomings, the advantages couldn't be covered up. He Lufeng glanced awkwardly at Lin Yan before he turned to Mo Shuyun. Sister Yan, you're right. My racing skills are terrible. If the team hadn't belonged to my family, I wouldn't have become a professional racer. I want to learn from you, Captain. Mo Shuyun chuckled softly. Brother Lufeng, you have to work hard. Since I'm the captain of the He family team, I have to take responsibility. I told your cousin that I will personally train you, but if you can't satisfy me, I won't let you compete. He Lufeng's eyes lit up when he heard Mo Shuyun. Captain, you're training me personally? That's great. Don't worry, Captain. I will definitely work hard. Captain. He Mingkai sneered coldly. I am the captain of the He family team. Even if you enter the He family team, you will only be a vice-captain. Oh? Vice-captain? Mo Shuyun glanced at Lin Yan and asked, Idol, what is your relationship with this gangster of the He family team? Chapter 473. Relationship? Lin Yan mulled it over before replying, I don't think so. Who are you calling a hooligan? He Xiong's expression darkened as he Mingkai shot to his feet and glared at Mo Shuyun. Sorry, I made a mistake. Mo Shuyun grinned at He Mingkai. You're not a hooligan. You can't even be considered a hooligan in the He family team. A hooligan might not be of much use, but at least he won't be a burden. You and the others who raced with me last night will be a burden to the He family team. Dad, this man is too arrogant and rude. How can we allow such a person to become the captain of the He family team? He Xiong glanced at He Dinkuan and hissed coldly. Grandpa, Dad is right. So what if he is capable? If he joins the He family team, the He family team will fall apart. He Mingkai chimed in eagerly. Before He Dinkuan could respond, Lin Yan interjected, the He family will collapse because of your presence. He Mingkai and He Xiong were infuriated by Lin Yan's words. He Xiong bellowed, You have no right to speak here. She has no right to speak here. Do you think you have the right to speak? Mo Shuyun sneered at He Xiong. Before He Xiong could respond, Mo Shuyun added, Who do you think you are? You haven't even joined the He family team yet. Even if you did, you would still be under my jurisdiction. Mo Shuyun glared at He Xiong as though he was an idiot. Are you talking to a shareholder of the He family? A shareholder of the He family. He Xiong and He Dinkuan were taken aback by Mo Shuyun's words. Do you want to invest? He Dinkuan glanced at Mo Shuyun. Mo Shuyun grinned at He Dinkuan. Old master, your granddaughter and I have already discussed this. Besides being the captain of the He family team, I will also invest in the He family. I don't want too many shares. 20% will do. Lin Yan glanced at Mo Shuyun. Hadn't they agreed on 10%? Why was it 20% now? I will be the captain of the He family team and won't need a single cent. I will also be in charge of managing the track and the members of the team. I will also invest in the team, replied Mo Shuyun. Old master He Dinkuan's eyes roamed over to Lin Yan, looking astonished and incredulous. Even if Mo Shuyun hadn't been aware of the He family situation at the beginning, he would have been able to investigate it easily if he had been more careful. Currently, the He family team was on the verge of disbanding, and the pressure from the outside world was immense. Furthermore, the scandal of rigging was imminent. If that happened, the He family team might not be able to survive. Mo Shuyun, a capable racer and former captain of a famous team, had joined the He family team and even planned to invest in it? To He Dinkuan, this was unimaginable. Grandfather Shuyun and I made a deal. Lin Yan explained to He Dinkuan. The He family team doesn't seem to be doing well. Are you really going to invest? And you want 20%? He Dinkuan glanced at Mo Shuyun in astonishment. Old master, you don't have to worry about this for me. Investing is my own business. If I make a profit, everyone will be happy. If I make a loss, I won't have any regrets. I only invested 20% of the shares because I like the potential of the He family team. For a better reading experience, Please browse to the website for a better reading experience. Chapter 474. Emo Shuyun paused before he added, "Of course, old master, you're the boss of the He family team. Whether I can invest or not depends on you. Old master, please give me a clear answer. Can I invest or not?" "Of course." He Dingkuan replied hastily. "Shuyun, based on your abilities and connections, as well as my years of experience and connections, I believe that we will be a strong team." Emo Shuyun grinned. This old man didn't forget to compliment him as well. "All right, old master. It's settled then. I will invest 20% of the He family team's shares. In the future I can consider investing more. Perhaps I can bring my friends along with me. However, I have one condition. I can't use these people anymore. You should be aware of the He family team situation." Emo Shuyun replied. "What did you say?" He Xiong glared at Emo Shuyun and gritted his teeth. Haha. Emo Shuyun glanced at He Xiong and chuckled softly. "I've heard about you from Miss Lin Yen. All these years, your son has been the captain of the He family team, while you've been the manager. However, the facts have proven that you and your son aren't suited for this job. I'm a straightforward person, so I hope you can understand that I don't have any ill intentions when I say that you're parasites of the He family team." He Dingkuan's expression darkened. No matter what, He Xiong was his son, and He Mingkai was his grandson. However, the problem that Emo Shuyun had pointed out was real. He Mingkai's driving skills could only qualify him as an ordinary member of a beginner team at best. He Xiong, on the other hand, had been appointed to manage the He family team because he was his son. "Grandfather, since Emo Shuyun has invested in the team, let him be the team's captain and manager. After all, he has been the captain of a big team before. He is experienced in management," Lin Yen chimed in. "Lin Yen." Suddenly, He Mingkai glared at Lin Yen. "You're an ingrate. You brought people to harm us. Are you trying to destroy the He family team?" "Bastard. I knew you didn't have any good intentions," He Xiong also said angrily. Emo Shuyun shrugged nonchalantly. "If you say that, I don't mind not being the captain or investing in the team. I don't want to hurt the He family team." "Shut up." He Dingkuan frowned when he saw that He Xiong and He Mingkai were about to say something. How could Lin Yen possibly want to harm the He family team? They had poached the captain of a big team, and the captain would join the He family team for free. Not only would he not be paid, but he would also be able to invest in the team. This was a joyous occasion for the He family team. He Dingkuan knew the truth better than anyone else. He Xiong and He Mingkai were behaving this way because Emo Shuju's sudden entry had threatened their status. Naturally, they didn't want Emo Shuju to join the He family team. He Dingkuan knew better than anyone who was truly selfish. "Mingkai, you will listen to Emo Shuyun from now on. He Xiong, you will be in charge of the logistics." He Dingkuan said expressionlessly. "Dad. Grandfather. Didn't I make myself clear?" He Dingkuan slammed his walking stick against the ground. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit IAI. Chapter 475. He Mingkai and He Xiong knew that the old master was about to lose his temper, so they didn't dare show it. "You're He Mingkai, right? As the old master's grandson, I can allow you to stay with the He family team. However, my training will be very strict and tough. If you can't meet the standards or drag the He family team down, I'm sorry, but I don't care who you are or what your status is. You have to pack your things and scram. I'm very direct and I don't have any ill intentions. You won't blame me, right?" Emo Shuyun grinned at him. After hearing Emo Shuyun's words, He Mingkai said coldly, "You want to train me? If it weren't for the old master and Miss Lin Yen, I wouldn't have trained a good-for-nothing like you." Emo Shuyun grinned. "Who are you calling a good-for-nothing?" He Xiong's forehead throbbed with rage. "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not a good-for-nothing. I'm just an arrogant person who doesn't know his place." Emo Shuyun corrected himself. "Brother Kai, Captain Mo is more than qualified to train us. If it weren't for Sister Yen and Grandfather, I don't think Captain Mo would be willing to teach us even if we offered a huge sum of money." He Luffing glanced at He Mingkai with a frown. "Look at him. Look at him. He's so sensible and eloquent. They both share the same surname. Why is there such a huge gap between us? Mo Shuyun eyed He Lufeng intently. Your father must have taught you well. He Xiong glared at Mo Shuyun. He had said that He Lufeng's father had taught He Lufeng well. Did he mean that He Mingkai hadn't been taught well? Old master, I'm a straightforward person, but I don't have any ill intentions. I'm doing this for the good of the He family team. Hence, I don't care about family ties. Old master, I believe you can understand me. Mo Shuyun glanced at He Dingkuan. He Dingkuan nodded and replied, I understand. It's fine. Actually, you're right. The He family team should follow the rules. Nothing can be accomplished without them. I believe you've heard what the old man said. He Mingkai and He Xiong, you two can go back to work. I'll look for you if there's anything I need from the team. It's not appropriate for you to stay here, Mo Shuyun said. A high-level discussion? What high-level discussion? He Xiong said coldly. You can leave now, He Dingkuan said before Mo Shuyun could respond. Since He Dingkuan had spoken, He Mingkai and He Xiong couldn't say anything else, so they left sullenly. After He Xiong and his son left, He Dingkuan prepared an investment contract. Mo Shuyun didn't say anything and signed his name on the contract. As for the trivial matters after the investment, he wasn't in a hurry to deal with them. My idle, old master, let Yunxian and Lufeng test drive the car, Mo Shuyun said after a while. The old master was well aware of He Lufeng's capabilities. However, He Dingkuan wasn't confident about Yunxian. The boy that Lin Yan had brought home was quiet and refined. His personality didn't seem suitable for driving fast. Of course, Yunxian's driving skills had to be tested on the track first. Test the car now? Asked He Lufeng. What else? Next year? Quipped Mo Shuyun. He Lufeng was speechless. Chapter 476. Captain, I'm fine with it. I can do it any time. He Lufeng nodded. I'm fine with it too, Yunxian chimed in softly. Lin Yan glanced at Yunxian, who had been standing next to her. If Mo Shuyun hadn't mentioned him, he would have forgotten about Yunxian's existence. This boy didn't have much of a presence. If it hadn't been for his unique aura and outstanding looks, he wouldn't have stood out in the crowd. All right, let's go and try. I want to see how good brother Yunxian is. He Dingkuan grinned. Yunxian seemed a little nervous when he heard He Dingkuan. Lin Yan patted Yunxian's shoulder gently to calm him down. Mo Shuyun drove them to the He family's training ground in the suburbs. When they arrived, Mo Shuyun said, You guys can pick your own car and get ready. Let me know when you're ready. Captain Mo, are you going to run? Asked He Lufeng. Why would I run? I'll watch you guys run. Mo Shuyun sighed heavily. He didn't think this kid was smart. All right, Captain. I'll do my best. He Lufeng turned around to get ready. Good attitude. Mo Shuyun nodded at He Lufeng after he left. He Mingkai was the scariest. He didn't have any skills, but he was arrogant and didn't know his own limits. If this kind of person didn't know his limits, he wouldn't be able to improve his driving skills much in this lifetime. On the other hand, although He Lufeng's driving skills were terrible, he had the right attitude and knew his place. Hence, he had a lot of room for improvement. Yunxian, aren't you going to pick a car? Lin Yan asked curiously when she noticed Yunxian standing beside her. Sister. Yunxian gazed at Lin Yan and said softly, When we came here that night, I observed all the cars. Other than He Mingkai's car, the rest are all the same. So, I'm fine with anything. Lin Yan nodded. She hadn't expected Yunxian to be so meticulous. He had memorized every detail on the first night he had arrived at the He family team's training ground. After about a quarter of an hour, Yunxian and He Lufeng were ready. He Lufeng was using He Mingkai's car, while Yunxian was using a random car. Ready? He Dingkuan asked. Grandpa, okay? He Lufeng said. Anytime, Yunxian said. Hold on. Lin Yan strode forward and opened the door to Yunxian's car. I'll follow the car, replied Lin Yan. Sister. You will puke if I drive too fast. Yunxian reminded Lin Yan. Lin Yan was speechless. She wouldn't throw up even if she were to drive a rocket, a submarine, or a tractor, let alone a race car. I'm fine, replied Lin Yan. Then, big sister, can I drive a little slower? Yun Xian continued. Don't. Lin Yan shook her head furiously. Give it your all and drive as fast as you normally would. Don't deliberately slow down, but don't force yourself to go too fast either. I want you to be at your usual speed. Do you understand? Okay. Big sister, I understand. Yun Xian answered obediently. Sister Yan, you can't do this. As Lin Yan got into Yun Xian's car, he laughing couldn't stand it any longer. He rolled down the window and hissed, Sister Yan, if you want to get in, you should get in my car. You're my brother, all right? Why are you so biased? No way. How can I compete with him if you get in Yun Xian's car? Hurry up and come over. Didn't we have a good time working together? Chapter 477. Lin Yan was dumbfounded when she heard He Luffing. Had she enjoyed working with him? She had been He Luffing's navigator during the He family's life and death competition. She had almost fainted because of He Luffing, but he had actually thought that it had been fun. Wasn't he the one who had been happy? I refuse. Lin Yan rejected him immediately. I know how good you are. Don't worry, I won't say a word in Yun Xian's car. I just want to see how Yun Xian is doing. You should focus on your own. He Luffing looked as though his heart had been broken by Lin Yan's ruthless rejection. He mumbled something under his breath and wound up the window. Do you want to familiarize yourself with the car? Lin Yan glanced at Yun Xian. Yun Xian's eyes darted around furiously. After a few seconds he replied, Sister, there's no need. I'm already familiar with it. When I was in school, I often rented this kind of car. All the best. Lin Yan nodded. He Luffing and Yun Xian's car sped away at the same time as the old master waved the flag. Lin Yan's eyes darted to Yun Xian from time to time as the car sped away. Initially, Yun Xian didn't look any different. However, as time passed, Lin Yan realized that Yun Xian seemed different. There was a hint of madness in his eyes as he overtook He Luffing's car. The corners of his mouth curled up into an arrogant smile. He's too weak. Yun Xian's lips curled up as he spoke casually. Whoosh. Not long after Yun Xian finished speaking, the car he was driving completed the first lap. He Luffing was hot on his heels. He Luffing's car was better than Yun Xian's. Logically speaking, he shouldn't be slower than Yun Xian. However, it was reasonable that He Luffing couldn't catch up to Yun Xian. Yun Xian had been meticulous in every detail, be it the condition of the training track, the way he had handled the sharp bends, or the obstacles on the ground. If these details weren't handled well, the difference would be like heaven and earth. If he was slower by a few seconds, he wouldn't even be able to catch the exhaust. He Luffing and Yun Xian had handled the track so well that He Luffing wouldn't even be able to catch the exhaust from Yun Xian's car. After a few obstacles and bends, He Luffing was at least 5 seconds slower than Yun Xian. These 5 seconds were like heaven and earth. Lin Yan studied Yun Xian carefully. The passion in Yun Xian's eyes was more obvious than before. He seemed to have entered a state of forgetfulness, and all he could see was the racetrack. Every time he tackled an obstacle or a curve, it was as though he had gone through thousands of training sessions. However, this was the first time Yun Xian was training on the He family team's training ground. Yun Xian gave Lin Yan the impression that he resembled one of her disciples, the racetrack butcher. He was similar to Yun Xian when he was driving and his driving style. The only difference was that his apprentice wasn't as quiet as Yun Xian. He wasn't obedient either. Other than his master Yeva, he disliked everyone else and didn't respect anyone. He didn't even care about his apprentices. He was the most unpopular one among Lin Yan's apprentices. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit IAI. Chapter 478. A moment later, the car that Yun Xian was driving stopped at the finish line. Lin Yan snapped out of her daze and glanced at Yun Xian. Why didn't you drive to the finish line? The passion and arrogance in Yun Xian's eyes had disappeared, and he had returned to his usual obedient self. He said hesitantly, Big sister, should I wait for Luffing? I'm so much faster than him. Isn't that bad? Lin Yan was speechless. What the F***? Her disciples had waited at the finish line to humiliate their opponents, while Yun Xian had waited for them at the finish line to take care of their opponents. There's no need. Lin Yan sighed helplessly. He is used to being humiliated. All right then. Finally, Yun Xian drove to the finish line after Lin Yan's persuasion. After about 3 minutes, he laughing caught up with them. Oh my god. Why? I didn't see any amazing techniques. Why are you so much faster than me? Could it be that my car's performance isn't as good as yours? He laughing stared at Yun Xian, who was chatting with Lin Yan, He Dingkuan, and the others. He was stunned. Sorry, I don't know either. I just think that you're too slow. Yun Xian raised his head and explained softly to He Luffing. He Luffing wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Was he that slow? Actually, just as He Luffing had said, Yun Xian hadn't shown any special techniques on the track. He had even taken the corners normally. However, because of his handling of the details, Yun Xian had been much faster than He Luffing. It's normal that you're slower than him. Mo Shuyun's eyes trailed to He Luffing. Your handling of the obstacles is worlds apart from Yun Xian's. You wouldn't be able to beat him even if there were 10 of you. Ha! My handling of the obstacles? He Luffing was dumbfounded. Hadn't he handled them well? However, Yun Xian, you've surprised me. You have great potential. Mo Shuyun reevaluated Yun Xian. Thank you, Captain. I'm still lacking compared to you. I hope to learn from you. I want to improve, Yun Xian said softly. Ha ha ha, that's too nice of you. Don't worry, I'll guide you well. Yun Xian, you've passed my test, Mo Shuyun said. Not bad. You ran really well. None of the previous members of the He family team could compare to you, Yun Xian. Given your situation, it wouldn't be a problem for you to join an intermediate team, He Dingkuan commented. This boy called Yun Xian had indeed given him a great surprise. Old man, you're underestimating Yun Xian. If Yun Xian were to undergo professional training, he would be better than the average racer of a first-rate team, Mo Shuyun said, giving Yun Xian high praise. F***ck. Brother Yun, how did you run? Teach me. He Luffing ran to Yun Xian excitedly. You're amazing. Thank you. I myself also need to learn. There are still many things I need to do. Let's work hard together. Yun Xian said softly. Let's put training aside for now. We are the only few members of the He family team right now. I've told everyone else to get lost. We have to recruit new racers. Yun Xian, are there any young racers who are good at running? Mo Shuyun asked. Yun Xian mulled it over for a moment before replying slowly. It seems like they aren't doing very well. Forget it. Let me handle this. When we find more racers to join the He family team, I'll train with all of you, Mo Shuyun replied. Update is over. It's the last 2 days of the month. I'm begging for monthly votes and recommendation votes. I'm going to compile the list of winners for the canvas bags. P.S. Dear babies, the story of Gong Xiaoqiao and Gu Xingshan that you've been waiting for is finally here. It's published as a gentleman's dilemma. The first 800 people will receive an autographed postcard, a Chow hairpin, and a bookmark. The official pre-sale address is Tmall's Dezhou bookstore. Chapter 479. He Dingkuan heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Mo Shuyun. The He family team had been reshuffled. The members of the previous He family team would be dealt with in the next few days. They would be the only ones left in the He family team. Finding more racers and navigators was their top priority now. Shuyun, about the salary. He Dingkuan's eyes landed on Mo Shuyun once more. Although he found it difficult to speak, he had to explain the He family's current predicament. Even though the previous He family team members hadn't been talented and had been slackers just like Mo Shuyun had said, their salaries weren't that high, so it was still acceptable. If Mo Shuyun were to recruit talented racers, the salary would be a huge problem. The He family team wouldn't be able to afford the salary of a mid-tier racer, even if they were asked to pay a mid-tier racer. Mo Shuyun immediately understood what He Dingkuan was talking about. He smiled and said, Old master, to put it bluntly, I'm afraid it's unrealistic to think of poaching racers based on salary alone. No matter how high the salary is, I don't think we'll be able to find anyone. Then, He Dinkuan was taken aback. If Mo Shuyun couldn't recruit talented racers based on the salary, what could they rely on? Of course, He Dinkuan could understand Mo Shuyun's words. It was indeed difficult for the He family team to recruit talented racers and navigators based on the salary alone. We can rely on potential, Mo Shuyun replied softly. Only racers with sufficient potential and ability would choose to join the He family team. I believe that if the He family team has a captain, we will be able to attract talented racers, Yun Xian whispered softly. Mo Shuyun grinned and didn't say anything else. To put it bluntly, he had been interested in the He family team's potential. That was why he had agreed to become the captain and invest in the team. Mo Shuyun believed that, given Lin Yan's abilities, as long as she didn't abandon the He family team, the He family team would shine one day. After leaving the He family mansion, Lin Yan wanted to return to Cloud Manor. However, Pei Yutong suddenly sent her a text message. Sister-in-law, where's the present? Where's the present? Are you ready? We're almost out of time. Lin Yan fell into deep thought as she read his message. He immediately replied. Falling rain, setting sun. I'm looking. Wishing big brother and sister-in-law a happy marriage. Sister-in-law, this time, it's all up to you. The gift must be big, heavy, and have a sense of quality. It's best to add a little more meaning so that it's different from others. Lin Yan furrowed her eyebrows. This kid was really demanding. However, since he had made such a request, she would naturally try her best to satisfy him. Lin Yan walked into a shop. Century Watch Shop. The boss was a middle-aged man who was sitting behind the counter, wiping an old watch. Boss. Lin Yan glanced at the owner with a smile. The owner raised his head and glanced at Lin Yan. Welcome. How can I help you? I want to buy a big clock, replied Lin Yan. Yes. The boss stood up and walked out of the counter. He pointed at a row of seemingly old clocks in front of the door and said, These are all old goods. Miss, why are you buying clocks? Lin Yan grinned. It's a gift. Chapter 480. The owner of the watch shop stared at Lin Yan in confusion. Had he heard wrongly? Was she buying a clock as a gift? Isn't that like giving someone a bell? Isn't it a homonym for sending someone off? Miss, wait. Let me confirm. Are you buying a watch as a gift or a clock as a gift? The owner of the watch shop was a little uncertain. He had been in this business for years, but he had never heard or seen anyone giving a clock as a gift. A clock? You heard me right. I'm giving a clock, replied Lin Yan. The owner of the watch shop studied Lin Yan with a strange expression on his face. This young lady was impressive. She was a ruthless person. Then, Beauty, do you have any requests? The owner of the watch shop continued to ask. Firstly, it has to be cheap. Secondly, it has to be big and heavy, replied Lin Yan. Then buy a new clock. Old clocks are considered toys and are very valuable, so they won't be cheap. A new clock will be cheaper, so the difference in price is huge, explained the owner. Then I'll buy a new clock. The cheapest one will do. Lin Yan grinned. After paying for the clock, the owner glanced at Lin Yan and asked, Beauty, do you need me to deliver it to you? Lin Yan pondered for a moment before she nodded. Boss, let's exchange contact details. I'll let you know when I deliver it. Sure. The owner agreed. Tell me the address and time. I'll get someone to deliver it to you on time. Pei Yutong had been waiting for her when she returned to Cloud Manor. Pei Yutong scuttled over to her when he saw her. Pei Yutong sat on the couch in the room. Sister-in-law, how was it? Have you settled the gift? Lin Yan nodded when she saw the anticipation on Pei Yutong's face. Don't worry. It's done. Is it big enough? Pei Yutong asked excitedly. Don't worry. It's definitely big enough. Lin Yan nodded. Is it heavy enough? Asked Pei Yutong. It's very heavy, replied Lin Yan. Does it have any connotation? Is it unique enough? The main reason is that it might be unique and artistic. If you give it to others, they will definitely look at you with sparkling eyes. Lin Yan looked serious. Pei Yutong looked puzzled. Sister-in-law, Why do I feel like you're not reliable? Why? You don't believe me? Lin Yan frowned. No, no, no. I trust you very much. Now that you've said that, I know what to do. It's all thanks to you this time. Pei Yutong was all smiles. That's more like it. How many miles did I travel for your gift? Lin Yan rolled her eyes at him. Sister-in-law, you've worked hard. Where's the present? Show it to me. Pei Yutong eyed Lin Yan intently. Why are you in such a hurry? It has to be big and heavy. Am I supposed to carry it around with me? Quipped Lin Yan. Okay, sister-in-law, tell me what you bought for me so that I can be mentally prepared. Why are you in such a hurry? You'll know when I send it to you. If I tell you now, I won't be surprised. Lin Yan grinned. Pei Yutong nodded solemnly. All right then. How much is the gift? I'll pay you. Lin Yan pondered for a moment before she grinned. There's no hurry. I haven't sent it yet. You can pay me after the banquet. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.